Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All in Channel, host Sega Forever here. Just give me a second. Trying to get everything up and running. Looks like it's streaming, but I don't see it on the channel yet. Oh, here we go. There we go. I wish there was a way that when I start my streaming, I could get to the volume control on YouTube. That's why I always have that echo every time I try and live stream. Because I want to make sure it's feeding to the actual channel because we are live. All right, looks good. Let me get my stuff out there. I know, guys, I'm doing this on the fly. Hey, what's up, Daniel, man? Pretty nuts week in the WNBA, man. That was crazy. You know what I realized? I had the WNBA through Amazon. I don't know how. It's on Prime, unless they charge me for for the new season. But I didn't see that on my I didn't see that on my bank statement, or I didn't see anything to indicate it. Daniel says, "Good, good. Ah, good job, bro. Yeah, happy Saturday, man. Yeah, Game 7 gonna be good. Yeah, my yeah, I don't have cable, so I can't watch the NBA finals, unfortunately. I've been trying to get back into sports, man, little by little, but it's hard if you don't have cable. It's crazy that there's not other ways to. Well, I know there are other ways, but I won't do that. But it's interesting. It seems like everything's coming full circle now when it comes to sports. I'm actually finding myself wanting to watch it more. If you didn't know, man, I'm a big Pirates fan, so I've been enjoying just highlights of Paul Skeens and the team's actually. I know their record's not great, but they look pretty good this year. I look. If you're a Pirates fan, I know people that are Pirates fans. It's just the way it is. I don't know about the Steelers this year, and of course the Penguins didn't make the big show this year. But that's cool. Still, though, Sid, skiing's been great. Yeah, dude. I was talking to my friend about it because I work with a guy. He's actually from Pittsburgh, and he's a big Pirates fan too. And we were talking about it, man. I don't think they're going to be able to keep this guy. Um, Unfortunately, I mean, even if they paid him the money, which I don't think they will, but even if they did, I mean, the ball teams are eyeballing this guy. I guess the only thing is it's just like the market, the shift and how he perform on other people's schedules. But I think he'd be a beast. I'd hate to see him leave the Pirates though. That's what tends to happen, man. Even some of our best players, man, they end up going away. Shoot, one time, man, what's that guy, Jay, right? Jay King. Like he actually wanted to stay, man. They wouldn't pay him any money. Yeah, Skeen's been great. Yeah, dude, like I said, he's awesome. Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, go Pirates, but I'm a Dodgers fan. Ah, no worries, man. You guys got you got old boy, bro. That was an amazing pickup. Otani, man. I I I thought he would stay in Anaheim, but of course, man, money. Where I live, dude, on one of the other islands where I live, dude, he bought a big mansion. He's gonna build a big home out there and bought a big property. Uh, and then every time he plays, man, the fans here, yeah, a lot of Japanese people live here in Hawaii. So, and then of course Japan itself. So that was a good pickup for everybody involved, especially the Dodgers. I mean, that's good for their market share. They already built their brand back up. Team looks good. I think 100. I don't know if you know Mr. 100, man. He's a huge. Because I'm a Laker fan, actually. That's my basketball team. Is the Lakers. It's just that everything else, because I was a Steeler fan too when I was growing up. So that's why I like all the Pittsburgh teams. I'll try to cover more Pirates. Although, yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, it's individually, man. They got a lot of standouts for the Pirates. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know what they need to do to. Well, I know what they need to do to take it to the next level. I don't think they'll be able to do that. But I'm still a fan, dude. Daniel Berry Sports highlights. Yeah, bro, I like your name, man. I'm just looking at that again. Yeah, Otani is great. Yeah, dude, he's a show, bro. He is, dude. He was huge before, and I only know this because of where I live, right? But when he came over, man, people were super excited on both sides of the ocean, man, on both sides of the Pacific. Oh, you're a Laker fan too? Oh, right on, Daniel. And I've kind of fallen off on sports. Like I said, I don't have cable anymore. But yeah, dude, that's especially during the '80s, man, late '70s, '80s. That's why I joke about the WNBA. The WNBA reminds me of the '70s NBA. Because my dad, like, he played basketball. I played basketball. But yeah, dude, that whole when Magic came in, and then you had the Showtime era. When Kareem was still there, dude. It was awesome. And then Kobe, man, they have a history, dude. They have a lineage. We might not have as many championships as the Celtics, man, but I'll put us right up there, dude. That you can't deny that lineage. Oh, Mr. Kima's here. Hey, what's up, Mr. Kima? The Dodgers have $1 billion a year payroll, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's enough to run a small country. $1 billion budget for payroll, I should say, not even a budget. What is the overall, Mr. Kima? Do you know? Because payroll is just the players. I wonder how much it costs to. I wonder how much money they generate. Man, those tickets must be crazy. But I don't expect anything less, man, from the Dodgers. Any LA team. Yeah, those arrows was great. Yeah, dude, that's what I grew up on. That was a perfect storm too, right? I mean, like you had Magic came into the league, Bird came into the league, had the rivalry, and then the NBA just exploded during the '80s. I remember, dude. I watched like everything, dude. There's times I'd just be watching NBA all the time because they had so many games on so many channels, right, dude? I mean, it was awesome, dude. And it's like they grew at the right time. Like looking back, if you look back, like that '84 class came in, dude. That changed everything. Right? Yeah, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone. I think it was like John Stockton came in at the same time. Clyde Drexler. I mean, Clyde was the year before. I'm getting old, man, so I'm gonna have to look this stuff up. But all I know is I started collecting basketball cards, and the holy grail of having a complete set was that Flair 1984 set because all the basketball cards they didn't sell well as football or baseball cards, and so they were actually a lot of those companies were going out of business. And Flair did what a lot of people consider would be their last set, Flair sports cards. So a lot of people consider this to be their last set, and then that last set was the set. I mean, all the rookie cards, and some of them are their because it's a rookie year. Some of it because that's the first card they got. But when that rookie card came out, dude, Chris Mullins, dude, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, I think Team Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing. That is the set of amongst all sets when it comes to basketball. Then there's nothing that ever came close because that's just a set full of Hall of Famers. It's crazy how many people are in that set of cards. And I think there's never going to be anything like that again across the board. Daniel says Kobe got to be the greatest Laker. Yeah, he's up, dude. And it's sad what happened. It's like I say all the time on the channel when I do talk about basketball, dude. It's like I grew up in a time where I didn't think anybody would be better than Dr. J, and then of course Michael comes along, and then the NBA is speckled with all type of greats that's come in, and some of them do. I mean, they're Hall of Famers in their own right, man, but they're able to fill certain roles that help elevate the league. I mean, I always give props to Michael, dude. That's why I call him the GOAT all the time, just because it's a perfect storm when he came in, dude. He had it all, not just his talent, his MVP status, or his ability to take over the game, or taking the Bulls to like their championships, all of that stuff. It's all rolled into one, but then it's also the marketing. It's also putting the league on blast. It's also taking the league to not just the next level, but several levels above. Like he did it all, man. it's amazing to see, and everybody kind of built off of that. There's just certain things that happen in certain genres, and I talk about that a lot on the channel. Like you look at, like if you're a Marvel fan, for a lot of Marvel fans, it was X Men, Giant Side X Men #1. But if you're a movie fan, you can go back to look at when the '80s and '90s exploded. There's always that those one. There's always that certain thing, dude, that happens in these genres that ended up elevating above what they are. Yeah, I can't even fathom that, dude, for a sports team payroll. But yeah, Mr. Kima, man, dude, that's crazy, man. And Daniel agrees. That's dude, that's out of my thought process when it comes to money. Hey, Daniel says, "Hey, Mr. Kima, dude, I'm gonna have to look that up, Mr. Kima. If you posted, that'd be cool. But I wonder what their overall budget is. Is that, I mean, if they're billion for the payroll, but I mean, it's LA. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I know LA in the news a lot and stuff like that, right? But California is still one of the bigger states, money making states. I mean, I think they could do better, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Daniel says, "Rest in peace, Kobe." Yeah, dude, it's sad, dude. When I heard the news, man, I was like, dude, I remember when Magic came out and said he had AIDS. I actually watched that press conference. I was like, oh man, dude, what's up? Dude, I remember when they got Shaquille. I remember the Lakers got Shaquille O'Neal from the Magic. If you guys didn't know, man, I grew up in Kissimmee, Florida, near Orlando. And I remember when the Magic won that lottery, dude. That was nuts, dude. Because they should not have the way the lottery normally falls. The Magic shouldn't have got that pick, and they did. And that's how Shaquille ended up in Orlando. At the time, I was in the Navy, so I couldn't. I would have definitely gone to the game. But man, when he went to the Lakers, dude, I was ecstatic, dude. I was like, yeah, that's because the Lakers have a history of big men, right? And of course, a lot of blowback I get from that with the Lakers is like, well, they didn't start off with the Lakers. I'm like, yeah, but they ended up there. A lot of people, man, they want that market, which is why Daniel was talking about Paul Skeens, man. I don't see him. It's not just about the money, dude. If the Yankees come knocking, dude, you're gonna see him in the pinstripes. I hate to say that. It'd be nuts, dude, if he actually got picked up by the Dodgers. I hope not, guys. I'm not wishing for that. I'm a Pirates fan, dude. I want him to stay in that black and gold, but I don't know. Are the fanboys ready to have everything played on one single box? LOL, 20 years coming. All right. Hey, what's number one? What's up, T? Number two, only you could come in and say that. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. We are going to talk about some Xbox stuff. It is the Wrecking Crew podcast. Um, hold on. This is working, so let me shut this down. So I don't have any problems with the feed. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. You guys can comment. I know once the guys come in and the cast starts rolling, we kind of the chat kind of fades to the background. But you know, right now, dude, if you guys have any comments on it, dude, what do you guys think? I finally watched the thing with Xbox teaming up with AMD. They released a couple trailers that talks about it, which I thought was really well done. Look, dude, I mean, at the end of the day, man, Microsoft is in the zone when it comes to their presentation and their messaging. Um, I don't know. They could work. They could be better on their actually marketing as far as getting the information out there. But they're just. I guess their approach is a little bit different. I know that's the one thing that people complain about a lot. Um, and I know they're trying to do stuff that's a little bit more outside the box when it comes to the marketing. I think they could do better with a little bit more traditional marketing. And what I mean by that is like we just spent like what 10 minutes talking about sports. It would be good to see them like doing a little bit more of that besides the viral stuff. But yeah, I got a chance to watch it, man. I don't know if you guys did. I'll pull it up, dude, and we can all watch it together. Let me just get some. Let me give these guys some time to jump in if they want to. I do have some stuff to do this morning, though, guys. So it might not be the longest podcast, which probably is a good thing. So hold on 1 second. Just going through the motions. Send this stuff out. And then I'll pull up the YouTube stuff. But I'm gonna tell you what, guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Uh, every day this week, I've been on my Xbox, and I've been playing nonstop. Now, granted, I have been playing mostly Towerborn. Towerborn, if you're gonna do an online service game, dude, this I gotta tell a lot of other companies, dude, this is how you do it. Because Towerborn, as a game, they know what they want to be, and they know what they want to offer. And for me, the great thing about Towerborn is they know that not everybody's gonna be into that kind of stuff, right? But they know that that there are people out there like myself who enjoy the type of gameplay in their game, as well as the aesthetics of the game, as well as the online component, as well as the way that they're going to interact with the microtransactions. And if you're going to do that kind of stuff, right, the best advice I can give people, gaming companies that do that, is to just go all in on it, right? Know your product, know who you're trying to market to, right? What happens with a lot of these for service games is that they start off with an idea. You can tweak it before the final finished product, but by the time you put that finished product out there, you should at least have a vision so that even if your game's not complete, you have a direction that you're going, and then you let the consumer decide or your fans eventually decide that direction that you're going to go in. That's a lot of things that I see that's happening with some of the most popular games, and I'll use Overwatch 2 as an example. Um, a lot of people saying it's hit a ceiling in their fan base, and I believe it, and it's just because they kind of lost track of their vision and what the game's supposed to be. And there's some things that they should have done with the game because of the type of fan base that they're appealing to, right? For example, I always like to use Marvel or Disney as an example, since because and that's just to indicate, guys. Even though I have a problem with them, I'm a huge fan. Right? I have a background in them because I've been following them for years. It's like that's how with Marvel when they started off their movies, right? They had a certain vision of what they wanted to do, and they were ultra focused on it because they had to be, right? That they were building the foundation, right? And they did a good job of doing that, and then they added on to that, and did a good job of doing that. And then right around the third phase, they lost sight of what their vision was, right? And it happens to a lot of stuff because sometimes you want to try new things or you want to draw in more people, right? You want to make a different, more money, right? So that's the challenges, right? And that's what I see with these live service games. But with Towerborn, when I play it, dude, it is what it is. Now I'm not saying that they can't mess it up or do something wrong later on down the road, but for what I'm saying right now, dude, they're ultra focused on what they want to be, and they still got work, dude. Don't get me wrong. If you go on their social media sites and stuff like that, they talk about it, and the fans talk about it, which is good, man. I mean, they get a lot of critique too, but that's a good thing because you have people that are engaged, and it's not critique in the sense of people just hating on stuff like I've been ranting on this channel, right? You go to a person's channel, like I have a topic here that says, "Is Windows ready?" Right? And you guys know if you're on my channel, I'm not a big PC guy, So what am I going to talk about? Right? Hopefully, some of the other guys jump in and they can give their 2 cents. Right? But I have a very base level of what it means to be a PC quote unquote Xbox gamer. Right? Not my forte. But what I'm going to do is talk around it, and that's fine. Right? As long as I don't try and talk about things I don't know. Right? And so that's what I mean with a lot of these companies that are doing these live service games. They start off in a certain direction. They start off good. They get a fan base, right? And then they start, tweaking it a little bit, and that's where the trouble comes in, right? Because once they lose sight of what their game is supposed to be or why people like their game, then it's over. Right? And that's something I hope doesn't happen with Towerborn. There's some improvements they have to make, but the improvements that they can make, and it's just on a certain on the actual it's not like on some of the gameplay. I can see them doing better with that. Some of the classes, but also like the stuff, simple stuff like the storage issue with a lot of the gear you get. Because basically all you're doing is running through. For most people, you're just running through the game, going through matches, collecting stuff, breaking stuff down. Right, that simulator aspect of the game. Right, that's probably to me what they need to work the most on. Right? Because I've been playing it so much, and then realizing that I lose a lot of time in gaming because I'm too busy trying to juggle my inventory. Right. And then there's certain parts like you get so much in your inventory that you can't play. You have to go through it, and that's something they really got to work on. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to put that out there because when it comes to the games, dude, Microsoft is just absolutely untouchable. I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of people out there talking about Xbox the console, right? Which is fine, right? Especially if Microsoft's going to go for a bigger market, right? I don't listen to 99% of them because again, I'm not trying to be like elitist with that stuff, guys. But if you can't tell me something I don't already know, um, there's really no point for me to listen to you. That's just me being honest, right? So we got T on here. Hey, but anyway, thanks for being here, T. Appreciate it. What do we got? Let me finish doing this, guys, and then we'll get into it. Hold on. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to jump on today. Actually, I plan to get some stuff done, but I woke up this morning, man, my back is tight, and I'm like, that sucks. So what I did, I just hold on a second, make sure I got everybody. So what I ended up doing, man, is I just sat down for a minute, made my drink, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just do a podcast. Why is this doing this? Hold on. All right. I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, man, let me know. I will shoot you an invite in the chat. It's not a problem. I think sometimes, man, look, I'm just old. So you guys gotta forgive me, man. I am not the. It's messed up, man. Because I was online, dude, and I was trying to think about reading some stuff about Marvel, and I was trying to remember some things that I couldn't do. I had to actually look it up, dude. That's the level I'm at right now, which is sad because I would be able to like when it came to a quote in a movie, any of that stuff, that I would be able to pull it right from memory, and those are not those times anymore. So again, so I do apologize and bear with me. Oh, check this out. Mr. 100 is going to do a. Oh yeah, today's Saturday. Xbox and AMD are joining forces. No more custom chipsets for Xbox. Yeah, that's Mr. 100 channel. Go check him out, guys. He does it later on the evenings and Saturday, Pacific Coast time. All right, I sent everything out, man. Hopefully, some of the guys will come in. Oh, look, this is cracking me up, dude. You know what I find funny, and the reason why I'm doing this podcast, because like I said, you guys know I'm not a big PC guy, right? I hope Dia can come in. Dia will be able to talk on this topic way better than I can, or even global. Get their input. But I thought it was funny this week because I did have a couple of days off, and that's how I was able to play so much Starborn and catch up in other games. I'm playing this other game from Xbox. Hold on. What's it called? Sin Duality, I think is the name of it. Let me look it up, guys, so I don't give you guys any bum scoops. Oh, it's not showing me. I thought it would show me the games that I recently played. It's time to do it the old-fashioned way and Google it. Hold on, let me show you this. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is called Sin Duality. Sin Duality Echo of Adama on Echo of Adama. Oh, wait, Ada? Ada. No, Sin Duality Echo of Ada. So if you guys didn't know, Microsoft every once in a while, or Xbox every once in a while, they like to give you free play weekends, and that's something again that shows like how committed, especially the Xbox team, is to actually putting games out there and helping developers. You know, when you see somebody like Cerebon, who are gonna, I'm gonna do the video for you guys in a second. Hopefully, some of the other guys can jump in and we can all talk about it. Um, but when you look at Cerebon, and she talks, man, there's times where people, you know, look, dude, a lot of there is PR out there, right? There's the psychological and marketing aspect of all this kind of stuff. I get it, right? But one thing I do get from Cerebon, why I like her so much, is that she is very honest. Like when she talks, it's not just marketing speak to me. It is marketing speak, but there's honesty behind that, in my opinion. You guys can disagree if you want to. Same thing I felt when Aaron Greenberg would talk about certain things. Now, look, there's a corporate level that people just don't like, and no matter what these guys say, they're never gonna like it. Right? And I get that. Right? Just people being naturally suspicious of big corporations, of which Xbox belongs to one of the biggest corporations in the world. So I get that part, right? But at the end of the day, man, if you just look by their actions, right, they are very ultra focused. They're very ultra focused on, you know, their customers, consumers, and especially their partners, right? If that's one thing they've hammered home this this entire 10, 11 year period when it comes to the Xbox One in this next generation cycle, dude, is that they are committed to the partners that work with them, right? And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. There's people that come out and critique them, but if you look at the overall picture, and by critique, I don't mean that has to be something bad. I don't know why people think when you critique, well, maybe it's in the way that people critique nowadays, but the way you critique them, right? I mean, Microsoft takes all of that, right? At least they listen, right? That's what helps them. That's what's helped them put them in the position they are right now. They listen to everyone, and then they try and um, make the corrections as needed. And sometimes it's just not going to work out, guys. There's some people bringing their games over here, expecting certain things, and it doesn't work out. And then when it doesn't work out, right, they change. You know, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do that. And I forgot what guy was. I think it was the what's the name of that Savage Planet? I think it was this guy. I could be wrong. Check me in the comments if I am, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure it was them. The developer came on and said, you know, they're not going to do Savage Planet 2 the way they did Savage Planet, like putting it in an Xbox, right? Because they didn't feel they got the push that they wanted from the game using Xbox, right? And right now, the market is so volatile, man. The economy is so volatile. I feel for any of these guys, man, to try and pinpoint because a lot of them want to. They're looking at patterns, right? They're trying to, you know, the ebb and flow of what's going on with gaming, especially with people buy and don't buy. And I don't think you can do that in this day and age, man, because people are going. Because again, I talk about this on my channel all the time, dude. It's just about, you know, people need to realize that gaming is not an essential in everyday life that most people think about, right? And then the market is full of casuals as well, where people aren't as hardcore. So even though the industry has grown, right, it's still on that one-on-one level when it comes to gaming, both the consumer and the fan, and the way that they participate in the ecosystem, regardless of who ecosystem it is. Uh, T Reaper says, I'm grinding Splitgate 2. I maxed out all three factions in the beta. Now I'm capped in the game, but I love it. Best arena shooter. Oh, dude, I haven't even tried it. It's an interesting premise, T. It's an interesting premise. I haven't even played the other game you were playing, the one with the cards. I forgot the name of it. And I wanted to play that when it came out. That was when I was looking at. And I'm already, because Firebreak dropped, I already downloaded that. You know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna actually download the other game too. I can play multiple shooters at once. It's not a problem. Right? What I'm having a problem with is trying to incorporate other games as well, because there's a lot of games. You know, back to my original point when it comes to. Hold on, guys. I keep on getting notifications, and I don't know. Back to my original point when it comes to games right now, just Microsoft is untouchable. They have so many games that it's not even about the money too, right? Because you can get something at an access level of Xbox Game Pass, right? And you don't have to buy the Ultimate. You can go the lower tier. And what Xbox is doing that I've noticed is that they're actually putting more of the games that you would have to wait for, like they when you get an Ultimate, they're transitioning over to Game Pass, the core. I'll say it's Xbox Game Pass core, right? They're going more towards that level too, right? And the only reason I know this is because I keep up with guys that talk about this stuff, right? Oh, you know what that is? That's my phone, guys. Sorry, very nice. Because I'm charging it or trying to charge it. So a couple of the channels I watch, dude, they do the rundown of what's coming and what's not, and I've had to do that. Number one, Xbox Central, so I actually like the guy's channel, right? It's actually pretty good. Um, but he actually does a good rundown of all the games. Plus, you can tell that the way he talks about it, he seems like an Xbox guy, like an Xbox gamer. So that's another reason why I watch his channel. Some of the other guys do the same thing, but you can tell they're just doing it by the numbers. And then a lot of them do like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. So which is fine. I'm just saying, like I just prefer to watch somebody that's more, bleed greenish, right? With like my philosophy. Um, oh yeah, but just really quickly, guys. So if you haven't seen it, Sin Duality Echo of Ada is on Xbox free to play weekend. Highly recommend you check it out. It's a mech based game, right? The Sin Duality means is that you have an AI component with it. It has mech combat. It's definitely a shooter game. It's also a sim game, right? The way the story goes with the mech is that you're coming into this area, right? And then they give you a mech. You go through the training. You're like, all right, you did well. Then you get a mech. They put you in this one area of the game, and then they give you the mech, and they give you like a rundown, a rundown base, and then you go out, and the main goal is to collect this mineral that they need. And then when you get the mineral, right, that's what they're looking for. But then as you go through the game, you'll find all kind of stuff in there, right? And what you can do is you can start leveling up your base and leveling up your mech. There is a paid component to it, like all of these games now are doing, right? But definitely, if you're on the fence about it, I think it'd be worth checking out. In fact, is this a Square Enix game? Let me take a look. And I was just playing it last night, guys. Uh, yeah, it's Bandai Namco. That's right. Bandai Namco. That's right. It is. It feels like a Bandai Namco game. I guess the review scores are like average, above average, around there. But again, when I look at a lot of these games, I was just interested in this game from the jump, just because it's mech based, right? And sometimes I have a hard time finding a mech game that I really do like. And so I played it last night for what, man, I say about an hour, hour and a half, and I have to say it's pretty good. I mean, I'm enjoying it, right? But it might not be everybody's cup of tea. But the great thing again is if you're on Xbox, right, and they have the free to play weekends, man, they do these kind of things, right? So going back to the marketing, going back to the partnerships that Xbox Ultra focuses on, right? Well, sorry guys, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. But the partnerships they like to focus on. This is a perfect example, right? And on that front, dude, I can't complain. I have no complaints when it comes to Xbox, man. When it comes to at the core of actually what gaming is all about, they're batting over 1,000. That's just the reality of it. This is why a lot of times, if you're an Xbox guy, you don't have to lose your mind with a lot of the hate that's online. In fact, it's kind of like a shield you can use, right? And then when you go out there, right, something I've been complaining about with Xbox is the actual culture, and them ignoring the culture of Xbox, right? At the end of the day, I mean, they got it where it counts. So you could just, kind of ignore all that, the drama that's going on, all the noise, and just ultra focus on your games, and you'll be fine because you have a lot of them. If you guys are like me, man, you guys there's no reason not to be playing a video game at any time because I have such a big backlog. I have a huge library of games that I own, and then of course I'm subscribed to Game Pass and I'm living in Microsoft's ecosystem. And again, like I say on the channel all the time, the ecosystem includes more than just gaming. I use my Xbox for a lot, download a lot of apps, stream a lot of stuff, buy a lot of content. At least when it comes to entertainment, right? The majority of the anime that I watch, every once in a while, Microsoft would have like the anime store sales, and of course they have it in the store regularly, right? And the prices have gone down. They've become more manageable. They kind of well, actually, I gotta say they kind of went up. But it's still in that manageable, not like before. Before, sometimes you have to pay like a full $40, $39 for this stuff. and I'm never gonna do that for digital. If I want to do that, I'll just go buy the Blu-ray right there, or or even the DVD, guys. But I mean, they have these sales. They have it on Anime Month, but now they do it almost every month, guys. Just go to the store, man. Keep up with what they're doing. I mean, you can have you can get a lot of bang for your buck. I'll just put it that way. T Reaper says I'm grinding Splitgate 2. I maxed out all three factions in the beta. Oh yeah, I read that one already. T, sorry. T Reaper says, well, it's free. Sega gave it a try. You'd be impressed how they changed the VR to beat COD. LOL. Which one is that? Are we talking about the card game one? T, can you clarify? Is Splitgate 2 Sega? Dude, Sega does a lot of different things now. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit more classic Sega, but and I'm not talking about like just rehashing the old games, guys. Like what they're doing with the set of games that they showed. Um, what was it last year? Right, like the direction Sega was going in as far as their classic franchises. I'm all down for that. Right. That's right on my wheelhouse. Do you think Shinobi? Did Shinobi release or is going to release? I think it did release, man. But dude, that price tag for that collector's edition is nuts. It is nuts, but dude, it'd be worth it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it comes out next month. If Heba was here, he could let you know for sure. All right, guys, hold on 1 second. Let me go back here. Try and run this. Try and run this bad boy. Well, that's interesting. Should have had my other one on here. Where is it? Not seeing it. I want to prep the videos, guys, really quickly. In fact, let me do this the right way and move this up. This is funny because there we go. Let me move this up here. Let me move this up here because when I run through them, dude, I just want to run through the whole thing. I'm talking about the partnership between, since we're talking about partnerships, kind of a cool segue. Um, dude, where is it? I know that I had it. This is crazy. I can't find the video. But again, since we're talking about partnerships, let me ultra focus on the Xbox AMD thing. Oh, wait a minute. Is it because it's on a different channel? That's why I don't see it. This is funny to me because I actually wanted to do this. I think this is the one. Yeah, it's 10 minutes. Actually, we can do all of this stuff, guys. We can chew we can eat and we can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Hold on. Let me save this to Xbox Media. I have a playlist for this kind of stuff, so I'm not saying I'm any good at it, guys, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we got that one, and then we can do. In fact, we can do the reveal because I think they have the reveal as well. Might as well run the full gamut. This is crazy. Xbox actually has a Summer Game Fest. Their games that were on Summer Game Fest on their channel, and I didn't even pay attention to that. So I got to go back and do that. Yeah, this is the one. All right, let me run this too. Sorry, guys, I didn't know I was going to actually be doing it this way, so that's why I'm doing this right now. Plus, give time for the guys if they have chance to come in. that up. All right, guys. I got that all prepped. I'll give them a little bit more time. Again, if you guys have any questions in the chat, please feel free to ask. And again, the focus of this podcast is Windows Ready. Because like I said in my previous videos, it looks like that's the direction we're going in. I forgot who I was listening to. It was probably, actually I think it was Ryan McCaffrey, because I turned off the video. One thing I don't like about YouTube, right, when you're listening to something specific and then it switches to another video and it's of people you don't listen to or don't like. And for some reason, the algorithm can't pick up on that, and I understand the way it works, right? They probably have the most views for the topic of Xbox, one of those videos, so they just said, "Oh, he wants to watch this," and I'm like, "No, I don't. I really don't want to hear his voice." And I was at the gym, right? And again, this is where I do a lot of my listening to all the information out there, right? So if I'm in the middle of a set doing something, dude, I just can't stop and I just can't stop and just like change the video. Now, once it was over, I'd do it, right? But I heard enough from him. I think it was Ryan McCaffrey that said that when he said the Xbox, and this is why we're doing the podcast, is Windows ready, right? Because when we're talking about this in general, man, regardless of what Microsoft does, and regardless of how they market or try and sell their Xbox brand, I mean, they're just going to have haters. Right? It's just the reality of it. And I talk about this on the channel all the time. This is why I'm so militant, right? According to some people out there, why I'm so militant on my views when it comes to the Xbox brand. And I'm always going to be that way, guys, because that's the reality of it, right? And again, Microsoft has a lot of money, so they can be above the fray, right? But for me, that's it's on that lower level that I occupy that we got to deal with it. Again, it is what it is. Though I did find. I found it interesting this week that I kind of find this. I found this moment of peace. I found a sweet spot that I've kind of planted myself in when it comes to Xbox and all the drama that goes around online with it, right? And I kind of mentioned this in the other video that I did, and I didn't want it to seem like a slight, even though it could have came off this way. But one of the great things about Microsoft doing this kind of stuff, right, is because and I'll just be honest with you, the way the economy is, right? And not just money, but because of time, which I talk about on the channel all the time, right? When it comes to gaming, you just don't have either the right amount of, enough money because there's so much content out there, especially if you're a hardcore gamer and like playing a lot of different games, right? And then there's also a lot of content, right? Like you hear the guys in the group, like E-Rock and all the other guys talk about content is king, right? Say, man, content is king, and that's 100% correct, right? Streaming services, especially with Netflix, they set that standard, right? And it hasn't changed, and so that's the reality of it, right? That the content is king, right? But the content is also overwhelming, right? So on this part, I thought to myself, you know what? Like everybody's been saying, you're spreading the wealth, right? And you're spreading the wealth, which you guys know how I feel about putting games everywhere else. But again, the benefit of it, like some of the other guys have been saying, listening to the other podcasts, right, is that you don't have to shoulder. At least for me, this is my opinion. I don't want to speak for them. If they were here, they could speak for themselves. But I did realize that you don't have to shoulder the burden all yourself. As an Xbox guy, right? Because one of the concerns I've always had with Xbox is, regardless that Microsoft has a lot of money, they're a business at the end of the day, and you see how they do certain things. They can spend billions of dollars on something and just walk away and not even be phased. That's the level of money and fluidity of cash flow that Microsoft has, right? And that's kind of been a concern with me. I talked about that on this channel as well, because a company that can do that, can do that to anything, right? So if it's not working out for them, they just walk away, which is, just something I always said that was an issue in the back of my mind with them, right? Now, given all the stuff that they're putting into, again, with the hybrid console and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna. I look at that as, and I talked about it on this channel, right? You look at that and you're like, okay, what's the future prospects? What are they gonna do? How's that gonna pan out? And I'm at a point where I'm like, look, dude, I'm not gonna ultra focus on it. Though it's the reality, right? But what I will say though is like moving forward, I'm like, yeah, dude, let everybody share the burden, right? If you're gonna bring all these people in or put your games everywhere, then it's not on the Xbox fan base to be like, okay, I have to buy every single game or I have to support them all the time, right? Because it's just not possible. That's the reality of it. Even if, and I'm not saying that you don't want to or you feel slighted. It's nothing like that, dude. It's just the numbers, right? And again, I've been realizing that because with Game Pass, the concern of Game Pass when I first got into when they first came up with Game Pass was like, oh, I think that's cool. You know, you'll be able to just play your games online. But what type of games are they going to have? Or it's just going to be filler. And they blew all of that out of the water the first year. From the day that they started doing day one drops, that killed all that conversation. And of course, man, a lot of those guys back then was wrong, right? Because they're like, this isn't working. They're going to do this, yada yada yada. You know, running their mouth, and then that's not what happened at all, right? And then Game Pass is where it is right now. It is that ultimate product that they're charging you a premium price for, right? And according to rumors that they're going to charge even more money for, right? And if you look at the content that they have on there, it wouldn't surprise me. I would hope that they don't. You know, I think they're at a sweet spot with the price that they have, especially since they're trying to grow that market. But at the end of the day, I think they're looking at it that the market for them, and this is not a negative, guys. I can't stand when people talk about it like this. It's like a negative, right? They're looking at it as overall numbers and growth, and that growth just hasn't been where they want it to be, and that's probably why they're going to raise the price, right? And then you add even more content. Right? What they need is just people to jump on board and play. And I think once people do, right, once they get past out of that mentality, which I've been accused of lately, which is 100% true, right? I have an old school mentality. So ironic coming from me, I know, but if we can get past that and get people on, if you get people just to try Game Pass, man, at least to make up their minds, because there are some people that are not going to like Game Pass, right? Because it's too overwhelming, right? It's just the same reason why a lot of these people can't maintain subscription services, right? Like they'll jump in and they'll just want to watch a couple of stuff that they want to watch, right? People like myself who are ingrained in pop culture. Of course, this fits my dynamic perfectly, right? Just like the other day, I started watching a Korean drama on Netflix called Tastefully Yours. And the funny thing about it is this drama does well overseas audiences, like in the U.S. where I'm at. But in their home country that produces all this content, it's not so popular, where the ratings aren't as high as they thought it was. And since I watched the first episode, I am set back by that because I do realize that they have an all star cast. Um, Scripting is good. Dynamic between the lead characters is great. All the stuff that I feel you check the boxes off when it comes to watching a Korean drama is all there. And that's just me watching it on the first episode. Right. So to me, I'm kind of like, wow, I'm surprised this stuff didn't just shoot out like a rocket out of the gate. Like the rating should have been super high. Over time, those ratings can drop because it can't hold, it can't maintain that standard, right? Which is par for the course in any production, right? So, and I'm just talking about K dramas. I'm talking across the board. There's a lot of shows that are like that, right? And so, watching that and realizing, oh man, this is awesome, right? And then knowing that I'm going to occupy that space, and it's hard for people, right? It's hard for people to take the time, right? Unless you're really ingrained in this. And I'm talking, man, a lot of you guys that come to this channel that watch this content, you guys know I do a lot of the pop culture stuff as well, right? I'm talking about across the board, right? Like whatever the genre you're in, comics, it doesn't matter, collectibles, all that stuff, right? If you're hardcore about it, you do the extra lifting, right? And that's kind of what I feel like with Xbox right now, kind of like that burden's lifted off my shoulder. I told you guys on my channel that what I tend to do when a game leaves Game Pass, like there's a couple games leaving Game Pass this month, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta go grab that game. And then I went and looked at it, and I had already bought it. Right, so most of the games leaving out of the Game Pass this month that I wanted to get, I already own them. Right, and I'll do that. And one of the things, guys, is it is day one purchases. But if you strap for cash right now, it doesn't have to be day one. Just put it on your wish list. You like the game, you want to buy it, but maybe you short on cash. Put it on the wish list, right? Or you add or play later, right? And just at least you have it in Game Pass to play. But then every once in a while they'll do. You're already getting a price cut because of you're in Game Pass, but they also the price will dip on the game sometimes, or they'll just go into one of the sales that Microsoft does every month, basically, and that's when you can come in and buy the game to save you some money, right? And again, that's what I like about Xbox ecosystem because I know they're looking at all of that. Right? It's just constantly having you in there buying things so that you can participate in the ecosystem, but you're also helping with the financials. It's very complex if you look at it. Right? what I definitely know is that they want to be they want to be in a better spot when it comes to the subscriptions. Because again, guys, you're paying monthly. Just a reminder, if they raise the price, you guys will really know it by then. And that's why that price hike is real tricky, especially right now, because everybody's raising the prices. People ask me, "Well, why don't you get mad about it?" I'm like, dude, I'm a little bit more upset that my eggs is still $6 where I live. Right? And the milk is still like $1 more expensive, right? And that has more to do. And that's not a national issue. That's because of the state I live in, right? They find all these ways to try and get money out of you, all these stupid things, and just like any state government, I live in one of the worst ones in the worst state when it comes to running a government, because these guys, instead of focusing on the stuff that they need to fix, they come up with all these plans to fix stuff that's like over here they still believe in global warming, and one of the reasons why they believe in it is because we're in the middle of the ocean, which I guess you should pay attention to and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, dude, I'm like, dude, okay, let's try and lower the price of electricity. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole, guys. But I'm just saying it affects cost across the board, right? So if you're doing that, if you're worried about cost for these things that you need, necessities, naturally, something that's not a necessity will suffer, right? And that's what I think Microsoft is like. I understand that they know this and that they're working around it, a lot of different ways, right? And then we benefit from it, right? But at the end of the day, I know you guys have noticed that some of those sale prices are not as low as they used to be. And that's just the reality because everything went up. So to my original point, let everybody else share the burden, right? Grow the consumer base. Um, might not like some of the stuff they're doing, and that's never going to change. Sorry, guys, if you guys don't like that, I don't like certain things. That's the reality of it. That's how this channel is, and I'm not going to change. I'm just setting my ways. But the interesting thing is we can talk about it though, at least on this channel. All right, guys. I don't got a lot of time today, so we're gonna roll it, man. We're gonna look at this, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand. But sorry, to my point, when Ryan McCaffrey was talking about it, when I heard his little clip, which made me change it anyway because I didn't want to hear his opinion. But he did make an interesting point, um, or question. Like the statement that he made was interesting because he was saying what the rogue ally is and what it means. And then one of the interesting things I think about it is when you look at what the rogue ally encompasses, and I'm going to have to agree with him on this, right? It's I hate to say that, but just that from that statement he made is just like he didn't look at it as like Microsoft handheld. It looks like it was actually coming out for Microsoft to talk about their Windows plans at the end of the day. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, that's. I looked at that, I'm like, it's very rare that I agree with that dude. And I don't even say agreeing, but that's something that I've been thinking about myself. Is like, what does this mean? And if you guys know, then Dea's been on the podcast, and then Dea talks about things from a PC perspective too, right? She's an Xbox person, of course, but she has the inside of PC that I know definitely I don't have. And she's been talking about Windows and the problem with Windows, right? Because you have all these different operating systems, right? Steam, and then I think Epic has their own and all this kind of stuff. So, and bear with me, guys. I'm stepping in territory I don't know. So when it comes to Windows, right? Windows, it seems to me like they are going to try and level up and take their operating system to the next level. The question is, can they do that? And that's something that I find interesting because I had that thought. Then of course I going down the rabbit hole of people who are PC people, right? And they're not necessarily Xbox people because that's who Microsoft is catering to right now, right? They're trying to cater to the PC community. And I tell you one thing I love about the PC community is that they don't shy away from letting you know how they feel. And I'm talking, look, I don't know most of these people. I know they're the most popular channels because they have they have a lot of subscribers, right? And anytime there's anything tech, these guys jump up. I wish I wish I could remember the name, but I don't follow them that closely. But they have a lot of concerns. They're very skeptical, with what Microsoft is trying to do, and I say Microsoft proper. And I found it interesting some of their critiques, right? And I was like, oh wow, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't even have to worry about it, right? Because these guys will deal with it. In the same sense, I talk about with the PlayStation guys. If there's one thing that the PlayStation guys do, right, and all the people that just hate Xbox, and, and that's outside of PlayStation, just people that hate Xbox, right? Some of them are guys from the old 360 eras. You see them kind of dipping up now, coming up asking, well, what is an Xbox anymore, right? Because you know they know the Xbox is 360 now. In fairness, man, just give you guys some background, dude. Some of these dudes probably haven't touched an Xbox since the 360, right? They're probably in that group of people that when COD went to PlayStation, and what I mean by went to PlayStation, they got the rights to early content, early access to content. All those guys probably went over. Again, I tell you that Microsoft found that they don't really have a fan base back then. They just had consumers, and so a lot of these guys are tripping in, and that's why you see all of this stuff going on right now in the gaming community. And it gave me pause. I'm not gonna lie, it gave me pause, and I just sat back and I looked at it, and I was like, you know what, dude? At the end of the day, dude, as an Xbox consumer, right? It's good for me to leverage that for myself, right? So if you are gonna do what you're doing, which Microsoft is, right? They're gonna move forward with their plans, right, to grow their brand outside of the actual Xbox console and go to the other handheld PC, streaming, cloud, all that stuff. Right? That's their goal. Putting it on probably the Switch, definitely on the PlayStation. We saw the Battle.net stuff at the showcase. All of that's what they're gonna do. Right? Let those guys shoulder the cost. Right? And like the guys were saying in the last podcast that they did, this Unlimited podcast, they're talking about that. Let these dudes pay for it, and then we can reap the benefits that way. I mean, I do take advantage of it with the PlayStation, right? I don't have to worry about Xbox messing up because there's this cadre of people out there across all the levels, whether it's PlayStation, sometimes Nintendo, PlayStation PC, sometimes Nintendo. Like all these different factions out there that always keep Xbox in check. So anytime, and then you got the influencers who just want some of them just hate Xbox, and then others of them is just using it as content for their channel, right? So you had all of that stuff going on to the point where I didn't even have to worry about what Xbox was doing. Like if Xbox did something that I didn't like, and the greater population of the gaming community, quote unquote, didn't like, then they would get hammered for it, and then they would adjust, right? So in that part, that was a silver lining in that dark cloud that I would take advantage of. But I'm going to do the same thing. Case in point, with everything that's going on now, I'm going to do the same thing because I really have no choice, honestly. And then at the end of the day, there are benefits to it, right? So just sit back, kind of look at it, and be like, "Hey, dude, I don't have to talk about this stuff as much, right? Because you have people that are more experienced. I know nothing about operating systems. I don't care to learn about operating systems. But I tell you guys, I'm a console only guy. I am. So, okay, the other day, dude, I'm like, hey, you know what? I can unlock some stuff by playing on PC because I went to my rewards, my Microsoft rewards when I'm playing my Xbox. So like every day I'm getting rewards, right? Because I'm unlocking stuff using my console. And then it says play PC game for 15 minutes. And I was like, you know what, dude, this is the sign of the times. I give it a try. But I found something simple that I like to play. And you know what? It was interesting because I saw the game. I was like, oh yeah, I downloaded this game on my PC because I wanted to try it out. So I go click play, and then it kicks off. I'm like, all right, dude, I didn't play it. Yeah, I just downloaded it, but kind of forgot about it. And it's just one of those simple cooking simulator games, right? It starts off simple. You got customers coming in. You have a restaurant, customers coming in. All you're doing is serving them hot hamburgers and drinks, right? And of course, it's a food simulator game, so you got a time limit. You can level up all your stuff, dude. You have to. If you don't get the food to them in time, you might get paid for the food, but you're not gonna get a tip. And you wanna get the best service as possible because you want to raise your money as quickly as possible so that you can buy other stuff like unlock another stove, which is what I did. Unlock another plate, which is what I did, right? And of course, it's all tied into microtransactions and stuff like that, but you can work around that. So I'm playing this game. I'm having a good time. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. I can do this. Like, I can do this 15 minutes a day. And then I'll just go back to like when I was on Facebook playing Farmville and Cityville. Find games like that I like that are just real simple. Um, and then I'm playing it, but then all of a sudden, as I started leveling up, then the game kept crashing. Right? And then so it crashed one time. I was like, all right, I just restarted it. And it crashed again, and then it became like a real big thing. It kept on crashing out. My computer is a couple years old, man, but it's no slouch, right? I put a lot of money into buying this computer so that I can do stuff like this, right? And all the other stuff I do, right? Whether I have to work from home, any of that kind of stuff, right? This is why I got this computer because it is the all-in-one computer, right? It's a jack of many trades and it does most of them very well, right? So as I'm playing the game, dude, I'm like, dude, and it just kept on crashing on me, and I was like, look, that's one of the issues I have, right, when it comes to this, man. And that's something that I think Microsoft needs to get a hold of, right? If they want to, like for me personally, look, dude, because I'm a consumer, like I'm focusing more on the consumer aspect of being a micro, of how I participate in the Xbox ecosystem, right? Like if you guys are going to move forward with this, you gotta, it's the little things as well, dude. It's not just the big things, right? It's the little things as well. And Xbox has done a lot of great stuff with their box, with their content, with their services, right? But at the end of the day, dude, you have to follow through, and that's always been a problem with me for what Xbox does and does not do, is to follow through, right? And it's something, and you guys can go back, watch my videos, man. I've complained about that. Maybe not as much as I probably should have, right? Because for the most part, what they did before, they're ultra focused on, but now that they're trying to go big, right? That's where I see things falling through the cracks. You know, I'm not saying it's this bad, but it's almost like when I if I go to drive through, and then you forget my French fries, right? It's almost at that level. That's why I stopped going to fast food and drive through, guys. If I have to go to fast food, normally my kids want to get something, right? So I'll take them, and then I would rather go inside. There's only certain franchises that I'll go to the drive-thru because they don't mess up. Chick-fil-A, we finally got Chick-fil-A here where I live, and those guys are on it. I've never had a bad experience with Chick-fil-A. Jollibee is another one, right? And it all boils down to I mean it's the business level, but also their workers. Right? So at the end of the day, guys, that's I don't know moving forward. They really need to work on that. If I'm gonna, maybe I should first world problems. Because little things like that, dude, when you're trying to move forward and do a lot of different things to people, you're gonna end up what you're gonna end up doing, right? Is you're gonna end up hurting your brand, right? Because you're not ultra focusing on the things. If you're gonna look, dude, and the way people work, like I mean, me, most of the people in our group that hang out, right? They're how can I put this? They're we're ultra focused on Xbox and stuff like that. We see that, but when you're starting to broaden that horizon or expand your consumer base to you're dealing with people that just might be into one thing, unlike fans like myself. He bought Unlimited, Sega Man, all of us, right? Um, we're ultra focused on that. So what I'm saying is, or these guys are ultra focused on it. Like if all they play is a PC game, or if all they play is Game Pass, and something's wrong, like I've talked about this before, a couple of the games that I played, man, they just had bugs and they just stopped working, right? So even though, right, you have a ton of games in your service, right? If you're not making sure that those games are launching in a playable fashion, because you're gonna have issues, right? And one of the things that's always helped them is because the qualities have been above the superior quality far outweighed the lower quality. But as Xbox is starting to expand and Microsoft is trying to come in and make it take the Xbox brand in all these different directions, the things are being missed and stuff is falling through the cracks. That's my point. To the point where you're just gonna piss everybody off. Right? And some people might think it's unfair. I'm like, no, dude, it's not unfair, dude. This is the road you decided to go on. So if you're gonna go down this road, dude, you better bring your best game. You know? And like I said, I love Sarah, I love Phil, I love the crew and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is, guys. Maybe you guys can tell me what it is. But I'm noticing that a lot of this stuff is. I think it's because they're doing a lot of different things, and maybe you know, and you've seen all the economy, man. You see the layoffs, right? Which is everybody, right? It's not just Microsoft. Of course, all the haters are like, "Oh, Microsoft's falling apart." Dude, everybody's laying off people, right? So everything's in transition, yeah. But you still, dude. People think at the end of the day, dude, it doesn't matter, dude. You got to meet the consumer where they are, and if you're not doing that, dude, if you're planning to go multitasking and stuff like that, you just gotta follow through. That's the reality of it, right? Because they have a lot of people that'll just walk away. I'll be honest with you. Right? Again, love the showcase, love what they do, love the presentations, love all that kind of stuff. But it's whether, but in the actual, uh, you know, fulfilling what the consumer wants, man, that's when the rubber meets the road with a lot of this stuff. And if you're not doing that, um, that's on you. I don't know what to tell you. Right? Again, I told you guys about High in Life. Was playing that game, was loving it. Then I got stuck on a bug. Couldn't reset it. Couldn't do anything else. Went back bug again, and then I stopped playing. Right? I'm like, look, just wait for a patch. Wait for them to fix it, dude, and then try again. And then it is what it is, right? But then the problem with that is because so many other games came out, I kind of left it on the back burner, and then I forgot about it altogether. Not until they showed High Life 2, I was like, oh yeah, dude, High on Life 2, that trailer. Obviously, the game did great. That's great. But for me, I'm kind of like, well, I'll just have to wait. And then there's other stuff that I'm playing, and that's the situation, man. I'm just being honest with you guys. Unlimited production. Hey, what's up, Unlimited? I don't think Windows is ready yet. Microsoft has to completely fuse Windows and Xbox and make it feel more Xbox. A big task I have for them. Yeah, great comment, Unlimited. That's what I'm thinking about. And I've had Dia on the program, and she's talked about it from the PC side. I'll be honest with you, Unlimited. I actually watched a couple of the PC guys. A couple of them are ecstatic about it, but most of them are very to say. It reminded me of when Xbox first started to wanted to come in to the console market back in the day, and even myself, dude, because I was a hardcore Sega fan, I still am, but really hardcore back then. And I was a multi-console gamer, dude. I'm gonna lie, dude. I looked at Microsoft like, why are they coming in? Why are they coming into the market? What are they trying to do? Now, naturally, because I'm a gamer, right, it piqued my interest, but everything I looked at was very, like, trust but verify for me when they were coming into the market. And I wasn't really looking at the Xbox on that level. Um, so, that's what it feels like. Like, this is their next step, dude. And I'm wondering if they can pull it off. And they have no share. Look, we know they have their haters out there. That's 100%. They have a lot of haters. But on the flip side of things, they have a lot of skeptics, man, and they have to win those guys over. So I don't even have to worry about it unlimited. To be honest with you, dude, I could, like you said, 100%, like you said, dude. I'd just be playing my games. Unfortunately, I need to diversify because I've just been stuck on Towerborn, just playing that game. Like I really had big plans this week to try and wrap up either South of Midnight or Indiana Jones. So South of Midnight would be the fastest, easiest one to do. I'm trying to actually enjoy that game like a little bit slowly because I moved through it so fast when I first started playing it. I just want to, it's one of those games that you want to get into the characters and the stories and the lore. Unlimited said, I used to be a multi-console gamer as well, but always gravitate towards one platform with Sega as a kid. Oh yeah, I know you talked about that, brother. Yeah, I mean, I was all Sega, and now Xbox now, right? Yeah, completely understandable transition. Nintendo and Sony just never did it for me, and that won't change anytime soon. Yeah, me too. Like I say all the time on the channel, bro. This is my last hurrah when it comes to Oops, sorry. When it comes to gaming. And look, it's not like I'm talking years, man, into the future. That's how bad the backlog of games I have. Right? And then a lot of the games that I have, dude, are games that I actually want to play. It's not just me picking up filler. Some of them, maybe I'd say about out of the 1,100 games that I have, I think maybe 100 of them might be games that I'm just going to take a chance on. But most of the time, I see a game, I'm like, oh, okay. I definitely want to check it out, and I definitely feel like I'm going to enjoy the game. And this is over years, guys. This is not just like a couple years. This is over years because we brought our backlog from back in the day, right? And I should be, the thousand. I mean, I should break this up. Probably about 500, and then the rest of them are also physical. But I do have some physical discs left, right? But it's very rare that I buy a game and I don't like something about the game, right? It might not be the greatest game, but it doesn't have to be. That's the problem. This is why a lot of people got caught with their pants down. Other people out there, right? That was talking about AAA games, right? This is why it's not good to lie to yourself, guys. It's not good to push a false narrative, because if you do that, dude, you end up getting caught in your own lie, right? And that's why it's funny when Zink says, "I caught you in a lie." That's the joke, right? Or the saying, "What a tangle we when first we practiced to deceive." A lot of these guys are just bad actors, and they've lied. They're lying out there. They're putting all these lies out there, and they get caught up in their own. They get caught up in their own lies. That's basically what happens, right? And this is what happened with the AAA thing, man, for years. Dude, I've seen that. I was like, no, the AAA games, they cost a lot of money, dude. They're like big budget movies. If they don't perform, man, they're gonna take a hit on that. A lot of people was out there just pushing the narrative. Media, gaming media is pushing that. The Sony fans are definitely pushing that because that's their wheelhouse, right? And then one of the biggest lies they told is like we have all these great games and it takes them years to make games. So it all came to a head, right, in the last couple of years. Everything that happened, right, and then these guys got exposed, and they got exposed big time. So and it was bound to happen, dude. And the reason why they got caught with the shock and the awe is because they started believing their own lies and their own hype, especially like this is all that matters. This is what makes a game console a game console. This is what gamers want, and the numbers never supported that at all for years, right? And then what it did was it forced companies to go down that road, and they did go down that road, and that's where Sony is screwed today, right? Because that was their bread and butter, right? That and then buying third party support, like what happened with Wukong. Dude, anybody can put two and two together. It's not hard. You can tell that they made a deal with Sony, right? And then the interesting thing about it, you can tell they did it because their mom on it, because their product's going to be either it is available, or it's going to be available for Xbox, right? And they went radio silent, right? Because they know what they did, right? That all came out, dude. They should have timed it better. I don't know, dude. Some of these dudes, you know, and Xbox true to form, right? They'll promote it, quote unquote, but not like they could have promoted it had they come out, right? And again, they took the bag. I'm not gonna hate them for that, but you gotta deal with the consequences now, right? You want to appeal to a market on the Xbox side. Hopefully the normies will buy it on Xbox that are here. I mean, for me, like I say all the time, man, you guys went to the back of the line. Plus, I'm looking at the game; it looks amazing, dude. But I don't like if it's a Souls game. I won't like it. Liza P, dude. I want to go buy it just because I want to support the developer. But I don't. When I played the game in Game Pass, dude, I did not like it because it plays like a Souls game. I was hoping it had a little bit more action adventure, action adventure type gameplay in it, but a little more action. But at the end of the day, when you're playing it, man, and then the way they set the difficulty levels, I don't have a problem playing difficult games, guys. I don't like playing games that are just frustrating for the sake of being frustrating. Like I was playing, it's interesting. I was playing Tarborn, and I noticed that they ramped up the difficulty in some aspects, right? Because some of the stuff that I do is not working as well. Some of my patterns, which is kind of refreshing. I get it, right? Why they do that. But at the same time, as long as it doesn't feel cheap, right? Because look, if you guys didn't know this, man, like, and we'll run the AMD unlimited. If you want to jump in, I sent you a link on I sent you a link on Instagram. If you want to jump in, because I'm going to run the videos and we can talk about it. But if you notice, dude, one of the reasons why AMD is partnering with Microsoft for various reasons, but Microsoft is on the cutting edge, one of the few companies on the cutting edge of AI. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be successful with it, that they're going to change the world. I'm just saying they are, right? They are at that precipice. Very few companies, right? It's like what a lot of people find out when they find out about knights, right? You just think you become a knight, you get knighted and stuff like that. That can happen, but a lot of the people who are knights were in the either royalty, had title, had they had to have money. You have to have money. Is my point, right? So that's a lot of people are shocked when they find out about that. These are all the royalty, the upper crust, right? Because the only one that armor and stuff costs money. Right? It's not like a video game where you can just work your way up and then collect gold for picking berries, and then you use that to buy an upgraded shield, right? Right. So I think that's one of the main reasons why they're partnering with them. Besides Microsoft's big bankroll, but I'm just saying, right? And they're going to be pushing AI into these games. Satya has talked about it. Microsoft talked about it. And I'm not saying I'm against it. What I am saying is like, I mean, as long when it comes to gameplay, because trying to get the algorithm to match up with you and keep the game interesting, dude, how they really need to fine tune it because it's not great with the algorithm. So I can imagine if AI kicks in, right? They're trying to do something, right? I don't want to feel like I'm in Vegas trying to play like trying to like I'm gambling in Vegas where I know the house always wins. Right? It takes the fun out of it. It takes the risk reward out of it. Right? How they're gonna do that, I don't know. Can they pull it off? I have no idea. Hopefully they can because I think it's really interesting to do. But anyway, guys, let me switch to this real quickly because I am over an hour because I'm just rambling. And we'll run the gamut, guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me bounce this up. Dude, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. There was some like good trailers that came out recently, so I gotta do some of those videos as well. I just have a lot of stuff to do around the house, and of course, I'm more ultra focused on my gaming now. So it is what it is. Let me make sure I'm playing the right video. Wait, let me shrink this down. Boop. All right, dude. We'll just go from the jump. The reveal trailer. They showed us at the Xbox show. All right, man, we'll go. Oh, sorry guys, my computer's kind of bouncing all over the place. So this is funny, dude. I mean, so again, for those of you guys out there, man, because I know I've been getting pushback in comments and stuff like that. Like, hey, why do you hate handheld gaming? I don't hate handheld gaming. I can't participate in it. There's a big difference, right? If that's why I tried to do my video the other day, which was poorly done, but still I put it out there. Look, dude, if you guys like handheld gaming, enjoy it. Right? There's guys in the community I know that are looking forward to picking this up. Not sure which one you're gonna pick up. If I was to pick up one, I'll probably do the Rogue Xbox Ally. Um, and because I feel like that's the one I'll probably use the most because I'll probably be playing the games that I'll be playing on it. I won't need to have the Rogue Xbox Ally X, and I appreciate Microsoft for doing that. I really do because they're getting blowback online from doing why they do the two SKU things. It's just like with the X and S, right? At the end of the day, dude, it's not the S isn't for you, so buy the X. Same thing with this. The Ally isn't for you, then buy the Ally X, right? If you want the more powerful, more complete version of the two SKUs, right? For me, I probably would go around the Ally. Um, though I hear that the price difference isn't that much, which is interesting to me because I think that matters that they have a better price discrepancy. If the Ally in and of itself, right, if the difference is just the 1 terabit storage versus the 512 gigabyte storage, but then they both perform at the same level or almost at the same level, then I can understand that. And then I would probably just get the Ally X. Right, the reason why I'll go with the Ally, Rogue Ally, is because I'll probably be playing games that doesn't need. If the X is the more powerful system, I just need a regular basic standard console. I use my S. I have an X on my Xbox One S. I still use that one, and I play a lot of my 360 games on there. I have like a standalone um, hard drive, external hard drive that I have all these games on that can be played on the S. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be on the X. Right. And I know Microsoft upgrades the game and stuff like that. The reason I do that too is because of storage space. Right. I don't have to worry about it. So for me, the Ally would probably be the depending on the price. So like if the Ally, and I'm just throwing this figure out there. Don't quote me on this. I don't know if this is the price. Right. But if it's along the like if the Ally X is $599, but then the Ally is like $399, I would go for the $399 Ally. Now if the X is $599 and the Ally is like $499, then I probably would lean towards the X. But on the interim, I've just used that as an example, guys, because I'm not going to get either because I can't play handhelds. Again, it's not that I don't like handhelds; it's just that I can't play them, right? Because it's not good for me physically. This is more of like a health issue thing for me. It has nothing to do with if I like portable gaming or if I like portable handhelds. Now, one thing I did say about this when it was introduced, I did find it, I did find the presentation absolutely stellar, as Microsoft has been doing for years, right? They know what they're doing, right? They've gone through a whole myriad of different things they've tried, and they're in that sweet spot right now. So I definitely love the presentation, love this video. Um, the look of the handheld, again, I'm not a big handheld guy. Last time I played was my Sega Nomad, but the Sega Nomad, if you guys remember, man, that had like was it D or C batteries? I think it was C batteries, right? And that's like a bunch of them, 8 or 12, can't remember. So that had some weight and heft to it, and I actually like that. I talk about that when I talk about Xbox controllers. The Duke, I have a Duke, the one they re-released. Absolutely love that feel, man. Because I have fat hands, fat fingers, right? And I'm getting older, so now I'm getting swelling issues. So I'm just saying, like, I like that heaviness in my hands. Totally America, I know, but um, I would have no problem playing something like this. And I like that the screen is bigger, right? The problem I have is that when you play handhelds, you tend to look down, and that's bad for my neck. So I can't even entertain the idea. But if you want to, dude, if you're happy about this, more power to you, man. Now, but there's a lot of people out there right now that are just, you know, they're just not casting aspersions, but they're doubtful. They're doubtful about this product, right? To the point where, like I said, and you know what? It might not have been Ryan McCaffrey, but one of the Xbox guys said, they're kind of concerned because they don't know if this is like if they're just introducing this product to tell the world, hey, this is Windows. You know what I'm saying? I necessarily wouldn't have a problem with that if they follow through on the Windows part, like Unlimited just said. They have to be able to pull it off. You listen to Day on the channel. She's talked about the operating systems multiple times. Right? Xbox is gonna have to step it up, like step up their game, dude. This is big. I mean, I'm not trying to make it bigger than it is, but it is kind of big, right? Because this is the direction that they're going in, right? And from my experiences with PC to console and stuff like that, dude, some of that experience has not been good for myself, right? I talked about this like 2 videos ago where I'm playing like a game. I'm glad they brought it over, but when I'm playing it, it hasn't been configured specifically for a console, right? And so like when you're trying to control, like it's something as simple as navigating menus, right? Very jerky, right? I don't like that. When I'm trying to control the character, like I played Common Hood, and it's a great game, great in concept, man. It came right up my alley. And then I came to this one part where I had to actually build a camp, and trying to use the thumbsticks to do that, dude, it was near impossible. Right? And I felt bad because I got deep enough into the game, right, where I was doing everything else. I got into an hour in, and then it came to this one element where you have to actually build stuff, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't because I'm using a controller, right? Something that I feel like they should focus on, dude. If you want us to come along for the ride, dude, you have to meet us where we're at the end of the day. All right, so. But man, absolutely, as far as the presentation, the look, I think it looks fine. It looks clean, right? I like the white definitely than the black. I wish the Ally X was white and the Ally was black, but that's not their aesthetics, right? That they do with these things. But definitely like their white system, right? Because it has a more and it doesn't look like it's matted, which I wouldn't have a problem with. And they're supposed to have, I don't know, dude. Looks like there's more laser etching on the black than there is the white. I can't really tell from this video or from this picture. And I didn't notice it in the video, if I'm being honest. So like the black right there, the black has the etching. I don't know about the white. Does it? I can't really see. I think it does. Anyway, let me switch over. Make sure everybody's all right. All right, so then we can switch it up, and then we'll do, of course, my girl.
At Xbox, our vision is for you to play the games you want with the people you want anywhere you want. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories. I am thrilled to share we've established a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next generation Xbox consoles, in your living room and in your hands. Together with AMD, we are advancing the state of art in gaming silicon to deliver the next generation of graphics innovation to unlock a deeper level of visual quality and immersive gameplay and player experiences enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing library of Xbox games. This is all about
That's important. And not surprising to me, as they talked about this for years, backwards compatibility. And again, I agree with Heba. Me and Heba had a long conversation about this, dude. They need to bring the. I want them to bring the physical into that as well. Um, but again, this is what they've talked about. I don't know. I see people talking about it now. Maybe they weren't paying attention, but they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, they've talked about this for years." And it's kind of their bread and butter, the backward compatibility thing. Now, of course, they ran into issues, right, licensing and stuff like that. But to me, when I look at it, they've never really given up to it. They just hit a wall on a couple things and just push through. Right. So next year will be interesting for Xbox guys to see what they up with, because they're working with a lot of different things, like Unlimited said. They got a lot of stuff going on, but they've never not talked about this before. Of course, it'll mean a lot more when they actually pull it off. Right?
building you a gaming platform that's always with you, so you can play the games you want across devices anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next.
Great video as always. Right? You guys know how much I love Sarah. Right? I think she's the face of Xbox right now, and rightfully so. And look, let me push back on some of you guys, dude. Are like, why you always ultra focused on her outfits and stuff like that, dude? Like I see on my channel all the time, there's a culture to gaming, right? I just don't say stuff just to say it, guys. It's not about her being a woman or sexism or stuff like that, dude. It's that she reps the brand. And I'm talking from top to bottom, dude. When she speaks, as you can see by the video here, right, she knows what she's talking about, dude. You can tell she's in the mix, man. She's just not a pretty face for the brand. Just like I told you guys all the time, man. Just Sarah has bona fides, man. She has credentials, dude. I found the background on it, right? And this is not her first rodeo, dude. She started off in T-Mobile, so if you guys want to take the time, which I believe you guys should, before you guys start speaking about this, right? Go look at what she's accomplished. Right. This she just didn't come. She's not fresh off the boat, dude. She's been doing this stuff for years. She's just doing it for the Xbox brand now, and I think it's a great thing. And she has a great look, dude. She's pushing not just the brand, as the brand. And look, I have issues with Microsoft with the culture, but when it comes to Sarah, she's definitely rocking it, right? Hardcore, man. That's why I comment about stuff like that. I look at the complete package, dude. Right? And at the end of the day, dude, as a fan and a consumer, how does that affect me? So it's good for me to see someone like her, like with Phil. When Phil comes out and talks about certain things with the Xbox, like everybody knows Phil's a gamer. At the end of the day, you can tell that, dude. He lives it, he breathes it, and that's what gives a lot of us Xbox guys, like, gives us pause, man. It helps us appreciate what he does, right? Because we know where he's coming from, man. Because he came up the same way a lot of us did, especially us older guys, right? Sarah is the same way. Now I won't touch Matt Booty. With Matt Booty is like a whole other. He's in a whole other beast. But at the end of the day, that's why I talk about Sarah so much, and the way that I talk about her, dude. For me, it's just more about just presenting the tech. It's more just about doing the spreadsheets, meaning the numbers. Right? She's a perfect combination of all of that, dude. Right? And dude, she looks good. She looks good when she does that, right? Dude, I'm telling you, she looks better than most of the models. Like if you're gonna start, and I'm talking again, dude, it's not about her physical attributes. What I'm talking about is if you're going to push merchandising, you're going to push brand, dude, you need good representation. And she outshines the stuff that she does. Like when she presents herself in front of the camera, does better than all the stuff you look at on the Xbox store. Dude, I see some of the things they show on the Xbox store. Like, oh, why would I want to get that? Some of it is aesthetically for me, man. I won't match that. Anybody that shops knows this, right? But when she steps up on the plate, she's like, man, she makes it look cool. She makes it look normal, right? Like an average person can go in there and do that. That's what I mean when I talk about this, dude. Some of you guys, man, you have to meet the consumer where they are. And she's a good spokesperson. Again, great presentation as always that she does. She's definitely finding her feet. I know sometimes in the beginning you could tell sometimes she was nervous. I felt bad for her the day that she got called out on the interview. And I liked it. I liked it not that she went through that experience, but it felt real at the end of the day. So just to answer some of the blowback I get when I talk about Sarah Bond.
AMD and Microsoft are advancing a bold shared vision for the future of gaming, one that enables seamless gameplay across any screen, placing gamers at the center of the experience anywhere. We're so excited to be deepening our relationship with Microsoft and build on the over 2 decades of partnership, innovation, and trust. From the earliest days of the Xbox 360 to the most advanced consoles such as the Xbox Series X and S, and the recently announced ROG Xbox Ally handhelds. Moving forward, AMD will go beyond building custom chips for Xbox consoles to designing a full roadmap of gaming optimized chips combining the power of Ryzen and Radeon for consoles, handhelds, PCs, and the cloud. And we're doing it all with backwards compatibility so gamers can access their favorite titles across platforms, delivering on a promise to both gamers and developers. Together, we are building a vibrant open ecosystem that delivers the next generation of graphics and immersive gameplay powered by AI that includes new foundational models to accelerate the state-of-the-art in rendering.
Yeah, so again, like I said earlier, that's one thing I'm ultra focused on is the AI aspect of it. I just find, again, guys, on my channel, I just find AI interesting. I find it fascinating. That's why I'm looking into it. Really has nothing to do with the technical stuff. That's just part and parcel of what's going on. Hold on. All right, we're good. But it's mostly for the attributes outside of the tech. Actually, if I'm being honest, the tech is the tech. It is what it is. But it's more for the stuff that's the more it's the more metaphysical. I would even say like supernatural aspects of AI and what they're doing, ramifications and benefits. All of that stuff rolled into one. So that's where I'm coming at it from. And again, I talked about this several times, right? When I'm thinking what they could utilize AI for, right? Like taking gaming to the actual next level, or what I think is next level, in my opinion, right? The worlds that they build, the interactions that you can have with the gameplay, stuff like that. I mean, and it's not something facing future kind of thing, dude. I mean, it is in a way, but I mean, just basic, like being able to have more realism in a game by not distracting away from the fact that you're playing a game, right? Stuff like that. Like uncanny valley thing that they talked about all the time, which was a hang up for games for years, right? Because the tech was not there. The potential of AI to take gaming to that next level, and it all has to do with gaming at the end of the day, guys. Right? Microsoft has bigger plans for the AI, which again gives me hope for the brand because this is a testing ground for them, right? And as you can tell by what she's talking about, right, they're all on board. You have a company like AMD jumping on board with this, and they had mentioned this with the AI chip that Microsoft showed off, right? Because the way that they created that. If you haven't done the deep dive on that, I definitely recommend it, especially if you're an Xbox guy, to get a better comprehension of where they're trying to go with this. Because it is, to me, it is next level.
From console to cloud to handheld, AMD and Microsoft are building the future of immersive gaming. We are so excited to be working with Microsoft to bring all of this tech to gamers everywhere.
Once again, another great presentation. Another good thing I like to point out is that they're all on this. They're all on the same messaging, which is very important, especially when it comes to Xbox moving forward. Because I gotta tell you guys all the time, they have no lack of haters out there, right? And then last but not least, guys, we'll show this one. Oh. Sorry, guys, I'm losing the.
For the first time.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of lag. Hey, Vontae, what's up, brother? Yeah, just doing the showcase, talking about is Windows ready, because that's going to be the next big thing. And I was checking the landscape out this week. Not by choice either, man. A lot of this stuff is just popping in my feed for various reasons, right? Because a lot of this is the next big frontier for them, and they're all in on it. So, as an Xbox guy, especially as a consumer, I have to, I'm definitely going to keep up with it. And then they're touching on some other stuff that I like there. I just talked about like AI and stuff like that. I find that interesting. Because I finally got to watch the presentations on tape. That's why I'm doing the video. Because I didn't, I was so ultra focused with the showcase itself. I didn't realize that they did done some stuff on the side. I didn't even watch the Outer Worlds 2 showcase, which I will watch, and I might do a reaction video on that. Just because if I be honest with you, I just forgot, and I was doing other things. But yeah, thanks for being here, Conte, dude. We're gonna watch the final video and then we'll see what it's all about. Okay, let's run this bad boy.
Time, a player is going to be able to hold the power of the Xbox experience in their hand and take it with them anywhere they want to go.
This is a breakthrough moment for Xbox.
It's a ruthlessly player-first, game-first Xbox experience.
The familiarity makes a huge difference. It just feels like you are at home.
It's all about putting gaming front and center. We want to make this feel like it's a device that's built for players. That's our whole goal.
Welcome to Xbox Ally.
So in partnership with Asus, we're going to be releasing two devices, the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. And the first thing you're going to notice about these
So just really quickly, guys, I did not know Asus was Taiwanese.
devices is this new design. For me, it feels like I'm holding an Xbox.
It goes back to the Xbox game controller. People have muscle memory, the shape, the way it fits in your hands, the asymmetrical thumbsticks, the ABXY. And imagine just pulling that apart and dropping in a full-color, rich display to put the game right into your hands.
That's where this project started, bringing the Xbox experience into a handheld category.
The color of the buttons, that familiar ergonomic gamepad feel, the ability to have impulse triggers, right?
We have that precision Xbox controller experience, the rumble feedback and the haptics that just feels so natural.
You pick it up, it looks like an Xbox, it feels like an Xbox, it plays like an Xbox.
I love the screen. The screen is absolutely gorgeous.
We thought about the brightness that you needed on the panel. 1080p, 120 hertz refresh rate, and VRR.
It was so important to us that the experience from both the hardware and software side feel like an Xbox device from the moment you turn it on.
That's what people love about consoles. Press the power button and play. No configuration necessary. I just want to play games.
So let's take them to games. Let's take them straight to Xbox. Let's take them straight into what they want to do. You know that amazing moment when the Nexus comes up on the screen and you know you're about to have a fun time? Let's bring that to handheld.
Everything's coming together across the silicon, across the hardware.
This is my boy right here, man. I love this dude. Jason Ronald.
Across the operating system to really deliver that Xbox first experience that players have been asking for. The full gameplay experience that you expect on a PC or a console, it's now available in your hands. The Xbox Ally is designed to be your great portable gaming companion, allowing you to bring your entire library of games with you on the go.
It's just a super flexible device. It's going to give me a great balance in terms of the battery life and the performance. It also has fantastic cloud playing experiences built into it.
It gives you all the performance that you seek for AAA gaming, wonderful length of battery life, given the new efficient processor it has and large battery size.
If you've played a console, this is what you'd expect it to be. Use your Game Pass to get games, remote play to your console. It's a very familiar experience.
The Xbox Ally is great. The Xbox Ally X is the best handheld I've ever tried.
Xbox Ally X is really designed for the most demanding players who want a premium experience, including the highest resolutions, the highest fidelity, and the highest frame rates.
The Xbox Ally X is really for someone that is seeking that next level of gaming.
This is your absolute behemoth. All
right. So just real quick, sorry guys. 1080p, 120 hertz screen, AMD Ryzen. Oh, okay. 1 terabyte of storage. Yeah, that's impulse triggers would have.
bells and whistles. You've maxed out your storage, the performance of the product and the chip.
The Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme is the absolute best in terms of handheld processors that you can have today.
The industry-leading AI engine in your handheld device. Inconceivable even 3 years ago.
We have integrated in the power of AI experiences in ways that haven't even been imagined.
That means for the players, it's easier to enjoy, easier to start, and having help, AI is a companion for players.
Think of all the use cases that would blend AI-based audio, AI-based gaming assisting functions, AI-based rendering capabilities.
We wanted to build a handheld that can play the latest AAA games. I'm super excited. We've done something really, really good together.
A perfect blend of performance, power efficiency, functionality, and amazingly, this is just the beginning.
What do we call this? I call it the pizza box.
It was called the cardboard unit, is what they sent us. This was from Asus. This is the very beginning stages of what would become Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X.
When we started prototyping, there were a lot of naysayers internally saying that, hey, look, Asus, you don't have game content. We went to Microsoft and say, hey, Microsoft, is there an opportunity for us to build a handheld category with Windows?
So we did actually get a functional build of Windows running on this, and you could play a game.
Oh yeah, we powered it on. I think I played Quake on it.
The handheld gaming community is absolutely one of the most enthusiastic community we've seen. They provided so much feedback with our first rendition of Ally.
We realized there are so many things that our community can tell us that we can do a better job.
It came down to the fact that these devices were not really truly gaming-oriented devices, the way we think about consoles and Xbox.
Hey, let's have Microsoft come in and revamp the software on this, turn it into an Xbox without getting rid of everything that makes Windows great. Let's turn this into a console worthy of the name console, worthy.
Yeah, that's kind of what Unlimited was talking about earlier. They're trying to merge these two. Tell you, man, you guys go online, man. There's people talking about this, dude, and right now the skepticism is really high, especially on the PC side. There's some people that are happy about it, but look, dude, people make content for their channel. But overall, dude, that's the feeling I'm getting. There's a lot of skepticism if they can pull this off, and they need to pull it off because this is where they're going to go for the future, and if they can't do it, they'll be in deep kimchi.
Of the name Xbox.
That was the moment where we said, wow.
That's when all the light bulbs started to go off.
So we decided to start a partnership with them and do something wholly unique for us as Xbox.
We have different yet very complementary capabilities. You have Asus making industry-leading hardware, and you take Xbox and you bring all of the experience we have in console and in gaming and bring.
Yeah, that's my game right there, Towerborn.
And you bring all of the experience we have in.
Man, I love this game. If you guys haven't played it, man, you like action games, dude. This is top notch. Again, throw back to Guardian Heroes from Sega days.
Console and in gaming and bring that together into this portable device.
How do we start with this and add this to make it feel like a combination of Asus and Xbox working together?
I mean, this is exaggeration, but at the end of the day, you're doing some form of the flat fingers. You get a device like this, and that makes it just so much more comfortable to hold on to the entire time.
That opens up more access to your index fingers with your shoulder bumper, as well as those triggers at the back. It just feels more intuitive.
No one has ever seen this before, and this was a request from you as a kickoff for a proof of concept of what if we put an Xbox button on an Asus Ally?
You could imagine a world where that.
So for me, with the thumbsticks, that would be a major thing for me, right? Because if you guys have Xbox controllers, you guys play a lot of games. I play a lot of shooters. So does my daughter, right? We destroy those thumbsticks, right? And for the basic Xbox controller, dude, we've destroyed multiple. That's why what I do is if there's a unique controller that I want to buy, right? I'll buy that and we'll use that sparingly, or if not use it at all, and then you just use the basic black and whites because they tend to be cheaper too. But trust me, man, they need to. I don't know, so this is a handheld, right? It has to come correct, and that's why I buy Elite controllers now, guys. Because at least with the Elite controllers, you can swap them out now, right? And so they're just the Elite controller should be the standard for Xbox controllers. It's going to cost more, but at this point in time, man, just having a regular Xbox controller, if you play a lot of games, that they expect you to play, dude, either they're going to have to make the controller better or just make them Elite level.
That button on this device was the Xbox button that you see on an Xbox controller.
When we were talking to the designers at Asus, they were basically saying, well, our products, they're not round, they're angular chisels and angles. And so this is the new Xbox button shape.
To place the Xbox Nexus on the rhombus is such a beautiful representation of the marriage of the precision, the robustness of Asus's design, and the power of Xbox.
Something that I think is really cool is we have a micro texture which is that little
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of bothered me because I like the circle, but I get it.
Easter egg that starts to hint to the partnership between Asus and Xbox.
It is the best of Xbox. It is the best of Windows. Working with Asus and creating something specifically designed to help gamers have the experience that they have so long dreamt of.
Until now, the experience that you could have on the go was just not even remotely close to the experience that you could have playing games at home.
You look at this device in your hand and you're just blown away. How did we put this incredibly high-end console into a handheld?
I think once people hold it in their hands for the first time, they're going to be sold. Instant on, get right into your game. It feels like everything you wanted a handheld to be, but it wasn't quite getting there. This is it.
When you boot up your Xbox Ally, it's going to boot into the Xbox experience.
We're turning off the desktop and other processes to optimize for gaming. That lets you have all of this memory back that can go just towards your games.
I don't have to think about Windows. All I have to think about is my game. And being focused on my game and how I'm gonna get my highest score, how I'm gonna be able to complete that level, those are right there for me.
You're just one button press away from getting your game bar.
So you saw that they had the white version, and I was telling you guys this probably would be the one that I get, because that's the one I'll be playing them if I could. If I could play, this would be the one that I get. I know that looks good, man. Powerborn looks good on that because this is the type of games I'm going to be playing on it. Right? It doesn't have to be the most powerful, right? But I don't know. It looks pretty awesome.
You're just one button press away from getting your game bar that allows you to access various functionalities, utilities, and settings.
Game bar is going to bring all this fantastic utility there for you. You'll be able to, see the performance of the games. You'll be able to send messages to your friends.
Your most recently used games connected to a Wi-Fi network.
Okay, so game bar. Sorry, I keep on interrupting, guys. The game bar has definitely gotten a lot better, right? Because I use it on my PC, but there is room for improvement.
Work or changing the volume.
If I wanted to bring some app experiences thanks to the game bar, like Discord and stuff, I don't have to leave my gaming experience.
We've made it really fast, controller friendly.
It's all there and meeting the player's needs rather than having the players
controller friendly.
But what's so special about the Xbox Ally is that you can play all of the games that are available on Windows from whatever storefront or launcher that be. All of them are available for you on the go.
You don't have to kick out to a bunch of different launchers. You go to one shared library and they're all there for you.
The real magic of Xbox Play Anywhere is the fact that I'm taking my progression, my achievements with me anywhere that I go.
That's your identity, that's your library, it's the community that you have, anywhere you are, not where the device is. Xbox is about you.
Not, I want to play that, I need to go over there. No, I want to play the game I want to play. Like anywhere. What game do you want to play? Here it is.
Xbox is everywhere. Whether you download it, play locally on your device, or you play in the cloud, it should be a unified experience.
Being able to unlock people from a single device is magic.
It's going to be faster to fun. There's going to be more ways to play, and you are going to be blown away with the size and scale of access that you have to your content and library.
One thing that is true is how much play is important to who we are as humans. And when you hold that in your hand and you can take it with you everywhere, I think there's just something beautiful about that we all need. That's what Ally brings to Xbox players.
Sorry, guys, it keeps on popping up. Let me see. So I stand corrected, right? There it is. You saw the etching. You saw the etching on the white.
In their hand and take it with them anywhere they want to go.
This is a breakthrough moment for Xbox.
Yeah, that's it.
In their
there it is. So that's the, I stand corrected. The etching is on there. Looks nice. Just clean, like the color scheme. I'm so glad they went with that. Whoever did that deserves a raise. When they transitioned to the robot white, or I like to call it stormtrooper white, minus the gloss, not heavy glossed. I don't think it's matted either, but I like that design. I like the white because it looks so clean. I like the black too. The black, like the way they've kind of course corrected on their color schemes, glossy versus matted, finding a happy medium. I'm always down for that. Sorry guys, I was on the other screen. I just noticed the. Hey Tool Man, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here, bro. Just doing a quick little hangout. Oops, sorry, brother. I'm all over the place here. No, just doing. I just wanted to talk about this, man, because I've seen a lot of stuff this week with people talking about it, more on the PC side with the Windows issue. And again, Dea's talked about this on the channel too. She's done the podcast, right? Microsoft needs to be ready to go big time with this. And was that? And again, like I just said, that's the direction they're going in. So hopefully they can pull it up. Hey, what's up, Zane? Thanks for being here, brother. Your girl Sarah Bond, she's killing it. Have to do a little pushback on people, man, because people are questioning me my infatuation with Sarah Bond. And at the end of the day, it's just you need somebody out there like her that can push the brand and also speak on the culture. And it was excellent, dude. You can see her in her element. And I agree with a lot of the people, man. I would stop doing social media as well with a lot of the community because you have on the Xbox side, you get pushed back unnecessarily, and then on the other side, right, you're just gonna get a lot of hate. So what's the point? Just show up like this. Like we hadn't seen Sarah in forever. She did the showcase. It was good to see her, and then she just pops up on these videos and bam, she just lays the smack down. So 100% on that, dude. And Toman said, "What's up?" Back to you, bro. So breaking it down just really quickly, sharing my final thoughts. Again, I have no problem with Xbox having a handheld, guys. That's not the issue for me. The issue is you really can't utilize it. I wanted to get a better shot of the specs here. Because I hear people complaining about this too, but at the same time, people are complaining about the price. So there's got to be a happy medium, right? Right? They're trying to keep it in a price range. Because if they do what everybody wants to do, this thing will be like $1,200, maybe $1,500, especially now economically, in the economic times we're in. So, I mean, it is what it is, guys. If that's your cup of tea, just wait till they create another one, which I'm pretty sure they will. All right. But one of the interesting things I got from the video was being able to just click a button and then just get to the game that you want to, no matter where it is. So I don't know how this stuff works. The best thing I can equate it to is like I use Roku, right, from my on my TV. Most all my TVs I get them with the Roku because I like what Roku does. And then when I'm on the menu for my Roku TV upstairs, what they do is they'll show you a myriad of stuff because based on what you watch, and they got it down pretty well. They know what I like. They know the type of shows that I watch, content that I like, and they present it to me perfectly on the home menu. And what you can do is you can click on a show, right, and it'll take you directly to the show, regardless of what streaming service you're using. Now, the caveat with that is sometimes you click on it, and if you don't have a subscription, of course, you won't be able to watch it. But then it does a secondary thing and pretty good job of like, hey, this is how, if you do this, you can get it. And then sometimes there's even deals, right? So that's how sometimes I get my streaming stuff, right? They have a good deal going on, and I'll do it that way. But that's the caveat though, because gaming is a little bit different. Because a lot of times, like for me, I just want to go and I just want to jump in and start playing. Right? That's what I want to do. And like just the other day, dude, I downloaded Firebreak. It's a first-person shooter. Downloaded it to my external hard drive that I maintain Game Pass games on, right? And then I take that game because it has the XNS. You have to put it on your hard drive, and then I swap stuff out, right? So that's extra steps that you have to do, right? And then when you get there, dude, I didn't think. I clicked on to play, and then there's of course there's a day one down. There's an update, which is irritating to me. So that I can't play the game right away, so I gotta wait for the update to download, which I should have known about because I go through this all the time. So that having that type of connectivity, like to be able to select something and just jump right into it, that's a big plus. Hopefully, they can do it and it'll be instantaneous, dude. I think that's important. Like someone like me, I'll go through the process and the steps of doing it because this is my console of choice. and this is where I play my game. So, it is what it is. But if you want to get a broader base, broader audience, the easier you make it, the better. Always use this metric, dude. It's always about the lowest common denominator. At the end of the day, that's how you got to think. And for a lot of this stuff, man, that's what Xbox does. The Xbox team does. Now with Microsoft in the picture, that might complicate some of this stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I think that's where the battle is a lot of times. If they could pull the product off, then I think that'd be great, especially for people that really want this, that use handhelds. I mean, at the end of the day, even if I were able to get one, it would be an additional screen for me, right? Maybe I can play some of these other games, like I've been playing on my PC. Hold on, let me look up the game real fast. Something that's called Cooking Fever. Something as simple as this, I should be able to play on my PC, no problem. And again, it's not my PC or Xbox. It could be just the developers themselves. I didn't get a chance to look at the reviews, if anybody's even playing it at all. I said I can capture game clips, so maybe I'll do that. What's the stars on this stuff? I don't see it. Anyway, drop that down for now. But you see what I'm saying? So making it as less complicated as possible, making it user-friendly. And kudos to Microsoft, dude. They've been doing that, dude. They've been doing it with their systems, their controllers, their ecosystem. The little hitch they had recently was the whole tier system for Game Pass, big confusing. But I think people are willing to overlook that because of the content and the quality of the content, as well as the price point. Right? You just can't get any better than that. I mean, this thing is built for people that are not hardcore, that want to just be able to jump into games. And look, dude, I know people throw back at me all the time on this, dude. It's you're not gonna win the argument with me, right? Because at the end of the day, dude, everybody subscribed to something. It's just like when people are worried about the security issue of having to connect when everybody puts their business out on social media. And I know that for a fact because I have to do security training, guys, and they've been dealing with this for like 10, 15 years, right? Like if you have a certain type of clearance, right, you shouldn't be on social media. Right? They try to be nice about it, say, just watch this, watch that. Now they just tell you don't be on social media. You have a high level security clearance, dude, you shouldn't be on there. Gross point blank. I mean, if that bothers those people, then they can go get another job. Honestly, dude. Look, there's things that you have to do, and at the end of the day, that's just the reality of it, man. So a lot of people will, because it's Xbox and because it's Microsoft, right? People do that extra, dip their second toe into the conversation, and I'm like, dude, it means nothing. Your argument doesn't hold water because you hold a phone. Your argument doesn't hold water because you're communicating on social media. That's how I'm talking to you right now. When I have these conversations with people that feel like, Xbox is doing things the way that it shouldn't be doing when every other company is doing it or has been doing it for years. Now, I give Microsoft the credit on a lot of this stuff. They're ahead of the curve. Again, that's why I like them, because Sega is the same way. I've transitioned over to Microsoft. But the thing about it is, with the Xbox brand, the thing about it is that they are, but other people do that as well. So if you're going to hold one accountable, you got to hold the other accountable as well. I mean, that's, it's hypocritical if you don't. And that's why a lot of these people that hate, that's how you can tell somebody hates something, man, because they don't use no logic or their thinking and their actions are not logical or reasonable. Right? Especially when it's so obvious at the end of the day. Look, dude, if you don't want the handheld, then don't buy it, dude. Like me, dude, I'm on the console. That's fine. If you like playing PC, play on your PC. Right? They are gonna meet you wherever you are. Dude. That's not a tagline. That's what they're actually doing, and that's why I like these videos, because it's showing the follow through. That's what I'm more concerned about right now. Right, is the follow through from Xbox. Hopefully they can pull this off, because as you can see by the video, dude, there's a lot they have to offer. Right, it's in the execution. Right, and once they execute, then it's the follow through. Again, something as simple as when I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the thumbsticks, man. I've as a person who plays shooters a lot, dude, I destroy thumbsticks all the time. Now with the controller, with the Elite controller, they give you the option, again, like I said earlier, to switch those thumbsticks out. But that includes cost. How durable the thumbsticks are going to be. I know Microsoft puts these controllers through the paces and stuff like that, but the quality control, they could stand to take it up a notch or three, if I'm being honest. Right. If you're like me, dude, I just recommend just, if you're playing very basic games, that's fine. The standard control is good, but if you're doing anything above that, and if you're playing like every day like I am, then you should put the money into upgrading, which again a lot of people don't have right now. that is what it is. But anyway, great. I'm glad I watched those videos, guys. Sorry I was a little bit off on some of that stuff. Like I said, I don't really. At the end of the day, it's hard to follow all other stuff for me because this is a wheelhouse that I don't know anything about. That's why I was hoping some of the guys in the crew would jump in and give their thoughts, right? Because I am not putting myself out there as a PC guy, but no stretch of the imagination. You've heard me complain about it. You've heard me being honest about it. That's not my wheelhouse. Right? So, is Windows ready? I hope so. As you can tell by the videos, man, it's a big thing. Unlimited's comment perfectly says it. I don't think Windows is ready yet. Microsoft has to completely fuse Windows and Xbox and make it feel more like Xbox. A big task I have for them. Yeah, and I can tell you guys, as a guy who uses Game Pass, some of these games come over. Right, I'm glad we're getting the game, but they're not optimized for the console experience. Because I play a lot of different games. If you guys look at my end of year report card, right? I think Sega Man is the only person that got me beat on this. But Sega Man tries every single game. Right, I'll try the games that I'll try and do every single game too, but given the time and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, dude, when I play them, I kind of have an asterisk when I see something that's like on the PC side when it comes to the console. Right, it's something that I dealt with like before Halo. The fact of me playing a first-person shooter on the console was not even, not even believable. Right, it took Halo to change all that. And the dudes at Bungie working with the controller and getting it down to where it felt seamless. And I think that's the biggest problem with this stuff because you're bringing the game over, right? But it's actually made for people on PC. Just like you can do that, the same can be said of console, right? But then you take a game like Edge of Empires and what Microsoft did with that, they built that experience for console in mind, and that includes the controller. And I know that's a big ask, right? But again, the follow through. If Microsoft wants to do this, I would expect them and I would appreciate them to go all the way, right? To build these experiences specifically for people who use controllers and don't use keyboard and mouse. Now, that's why some of the people have been saying, well, if I use my Xbox, right, let me give keyboard and mouse support. And that's great for those people, but not for me because I like using the controller. And so that's what I mean by follow through. And again, to Unlimited's statement, what he said in the chat, dude, that's 100%. They need to do that. They really do. It'll be so much better for their experience. Again, time, money, all that stuff, you got to factor that in. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be worth it. Especially, and I'm being selfish, especially for me. Okay. Anyway, guys, let me wrap it up. It's been over 2 hours. Thank you guys for being here, man. Thank the chat too, man. Thanks for stopping by, Others Inc. Appreciate you stopping in, bro. Unlimited Productions, and get to hear from you, man. I know you're busy. But a great podcast you did the other day. T, man, thanks for stopping in, man. I know I see you playing your games and stuff like that, bro. Appreciate it. Daniel Berry Sports. Thanks, brother, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can bring that sports podcast back, but maybe so, man, because I've been liking what I've seen with the WNBA. And actually, I can watch the games because of Amazon Prime for some reason. But I'll take it, man. I'm not complaining. I gotta go watch the drama between the Fever and the Sun. I didn't get to watch that game at all, but I think it's on the playback, so I can go check it out. Get the full scope of it, man. Man, that's my girl though, Sophie. I always liked her, man. Sophie Cunningham, even when she was with the Phoenix Mercury. Dude, that's the first time I saw her, man. She had a game with Phoenix Mercury, and I watched her. I was like, oh man, I like this girl, dude. She stands out. And it's interesting right now, dude. She's getting a lot of attention, not just because of what happened on the court with the fight or the scuffle or whatever you want to call it. But it's interesting too. But she has that personality. She always has. She was one of the people I like following when I watched Phoenix play. Phoenix Mercury had a good team. They had Taurasi, and then the center. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. They had a pretty well-rounded team as well. But this year, dude, everything got blown up. Daniel. Everything got destroyed with free agency. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. Hey, Mr. Kima, thanks for being here too as well, brother. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So Xbox moving forward. We'll see how it goes, man. This is a big step for them, and we'll keep up. We'll keep up on it on this channel. Yeah, Tom, man. Thanks, brother. Yeah, thanks, Sync. Appreciate it. And then Bonte says all Marina Mayberry do is fight and miss her shots. I hate to say this, Bonte, man, but you kind of need that sometimes, man. She is a personality, whether we agree with what she does or not. Pretty cheap shots she took as Caitlyn. And some people are saying, well, she's just sticking up for her team. I was like, nah, dude, that seemed more personal to me. But it is what it is, man. That league is full of a bunch of female enforcers. And again, guys, I just to let you know, man, I grew up with 70s NBA basketball, so it's not something I played. I mean, I grew up when basketball was like that. I'm not saying it's right, but what I am saying, it doesn't shock me or faze me. It's kind of a throwback for me, but for the league, man, I don't think it's. I think they need to do something, man, because from what I saw, those calls that those people miss, man, it's horrible. Those referees are horrible. I don't know if they're getting their marching orders from up on high. I can't picture a referee being that bad, right? They are, dude. I mean, they're horrible. Like most people, most refs I know that are that bad is usually they're on the take or they're instructed to do so. You know, like the whole saying, like let them play. Nah, we want to get out of here, just let them go, right? But you saw what happened, dude, and it was escalated throughout the whole game, right? And again, second half because I'm getting this from other people. But I watched a lot of the clips to form that opinion. That's why I'm gonna watch the game to see if there's anything I missed. This is it's definitely necessary. That's why she's still in the league. Oh yeah. But I mean, yeah, but that Avante, man, they have to do something, right? They want that big market, but you're not gonna get the big market with that type of. There's an audience for it, definitely. It's giving them their personality with the WNBA, but they want to be on the next level, and they're just gonna have to correct that. You know, that's what happened with the NBA in some aspects, man. We all know the bad boys, right? The Jordan rules, all that kind of stuff. And then somebody shared a great quote with one of the hockey players because hockey has a reputation. And then when Wayne Gretzky came in, he kind of changed the league. And somebody asked another one of the hockey players, said, "Hey, why doesn't anybody check Gretzky or do some of the stuff to Gretzky?" And the dude just answered him. He's like, "Yeah, because he's making us millionaires." Because at the end of the day, that's probably what's going to rule everything, right? That's the change is going to have to come from, is because of the money they can make. So I don't know, dude. I mean, they can see the brass ring, but they're just not reaching out for it. I don't know what's going to take, man. I know what it's going to take. Some of these people are going to be put out. Man, of the league, and that's just going to be like it's just like I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that's the reality. And then when you see that right in the neighborhoods you might live in, dude. Some neighborhoods are run down. And then people complain about trying to get it all right, and then somebody comes in with a bunch of money and just gentrifies it. Maybe not what the people wanted, but it got rid of all the riffraff, right? I'm not saying that's the best option, but that's I think that's the nuclear option that the WNBA is eventually going to go with, man. They're probably going to fire that commissioner, right? Because she's absolutely hopeless. And then when players and coaches are coming out, right? When the fans are noticing that, even if it's a passing fancy. Like they're not even fans, but even they notice that something's going to happen. Right? Something needs to happen if they want to be a big league. They got so much stuff working against them right now. This is one of the things they can actually correct and not worry about. You know, the money, right? The subsidizing for the NBA, right? All of that stuff, dude. You have to not be under. You have to do everything you can to be successful, right? And when you have these things that you can stop that's keeping you from being successful and that you can actually correct, you need to grab it. You need to take care of it. Fonte says a lot of the older guard needs to be put out the league. The talent is only getting better, and some of these older players showing they can't keep up unless they're at the very top of the league. Yeah, and that's one of the difference, Fonte, between the men and the women, right? The men, dude, they know, right? They feel it, right? And it's a sense of pride, I guess, for men, or used to be for men when they felt a certain way, right? And they know that they have to pass the torch. These women, man, they will not do that. You're 100% right on that, dude. You can tell, right? They be going after these younger people. And that's something that, like, I think it was Barkley, one of the players were saying last year, man, is like the difference is when somebody comes in on the men's side, right? It's about, that. And look, men have their issues too, but for the most part, they're like, let's take this guy under our wing, man. He's the next level, right? He's going to grow the league. Going to make our brand. A lot of these dudes have marketing deals beyond them actually playing basketball. So, right, it's beneficial for everybody. And that's where the WNBA can get to if they give it a shot, man. But I don't know, dude. These dudes are like they're not thinking, man. They're just emotional. They're not taking it through. And not all of them, man. You can tell, like some of the comments, some of the girls are making now, they get it, right? But at the end of the day, like you said, that will guard. Fonte says also needs about 4 to 5 more teams. 100% agree. 100% agree. They're in that growth spurt. Though the beginning, again, all this drama is rearing its ugly head. They don't need it right now. You know, Caitlin Clark, man, she brought a lot of people in, however people feel about it. But that's same thing with Michael, man, or Magic and Larry, dude. There's a set type of audience that was watching Bird and Magic. Then when Jordan came in, he flipped the script, right? And you have to adjust. And these guys just are not adjusting. I don't know what their problem is, man. I mean, they're just freaking chatty, dude. And that's not, old school, man. It's just like if you had a problem with a dude, you just scrap it out, you just beef it out, right? Whether it's verbally or actually when it comes to a certain point for guys, it becomes physical, right? And you see that on the court, man. Lambier, dude, there wouldn't have been Larry Bird and Lambier or McHale. I remember that to this day, dude. I remember that scrap. And these people did not like each other, so they would just beef it out, right? Like Mayberry is looking like the Bill Lambier of the WNBA. And a lot of people hated Bill Lambier. He had a purpose. He served a purpose, man. But in order for the league to go out, to move on, that became less and less, right? You had Rick Mahorn. Absolutely love Rick Mahorn. That was my boy, even though he's on the Pistons. Like the Pistons was that kind of team I loved hating. But at the end of the day, dude, you knew what it was. You know what it was about. Fonte says there was a lot of big names coming out of college this past year, and most of them got cut after the preseason. Really? I did not know that. Did they say why, Vontae? I know there's a lot of big names came out of there, man, but a lot of them, were they seniors or the WNBA is a different beast. Like you said, man, they need to get rid of, I think it would have been better to get rid of the older guard and keep the younger ones. You can build a league off of that. Dude, when you get punched in the face and elbowed in the face and pushed to the ground, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't help. Oh, cool, Vontae, man. So, yeah, so let me know, man. I'll try and do I'll bring it back on the podcast, guys. And there is some stuff I want to do, man. Some trailers I want to react to. 2Man55 says, and if he was a Lippy fan, Ron Artest would come up in the stands and smack the crowd. Yeah, dude. I love that Bill Burks clip that I saw on YouTube where he talked about that, how he loved watching that with Ron Artest going up there. He goes, yeah, dude, it was like what did he say? It was like a movie. He's just like, just crap. Just swinging his hand and knocking people all over the place. Yeah, and again, that's on me, guys. That's how I grew up. You play basketball, no blood, no foul. You go to the YMCA or you on the court, like you're just in the neighborhood on a pickup game, man. That's what it is. No blood, no foul, dude. You just don't say anything, right? Because if you said something, dude, then they'll just follow you more. And plus, there's a sense of like, dude, like I'll be honest with you, man. That's like a man thing, right? It's like, like somebody smack you upside the head and you still put the ball in, and you just get in that dude's face. So, see, man, you can't even stop me, man. Even when you do that, you can't stop me, dude. I own you. You just trash talk. That's how we would get through this stuff. Sometimes you get into fights. Sometimes the police will show up. I'm just saying. I don't think they want that in the WNBA, man. That's not for general audiences. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Ron Artest, dude, that dude was original. He was a throwback. Fonte says seniors and super seniors. Like I said, too many girls coming out of the college and not enough roster spots. Yeah, 100% agree with you, Fonte. 100%. They need more teams. But that's the crux of it, right? They need more teams, but they need the money. They need that balance, man. And in order to get that balance, dude, they need to make this more palatable for general audiences. You see a lot of people jumped on board with Caitlin Clark. A lot of people upset because they don't like seeing her getting pushed around unjustifiably. Regardless if she's talking trash or not. That's why I see people trying to spin her. I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude, at the end of the day. Dude, beat her on the court. Beat her in the scores. Right? Like, she's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. One of the things people realize is her passing game. Her passing game is on point. She's doing stuff out there that most people cannot do. She can take over the game if she wants to. Like the game that she came back that I watched, right? The clips of. But she comes back, dude, and it's a total game changer for her to be with the team. And they kind of built the team around her, so she kind of needs to be there. So injuring her is not the smartest thing to do. I don't know, man. These guys just take things way too personal. They can't separate that part from the actual business aspect of what the WNBA is trying to accomplish. 100% great comment, Monty. Monty says, like back in the day, you could say the girls that got drafted in the first couple rounds were worth a draft pick, but these days you get into the later rounds and you still got gems. Yeah, that's what happened with the NFL, right? As the sport has become popular nationally and it grows across all spectrums, right? You get to pull people from different backgrounds, from different parts of the country, from different areas, with unique abilities, right? You don't have to be a superstar, but you bring something to the table, right? Um, and that's what it is. That's what it is. That's how you get your Jason Kidds, and that's how you get your, just those players that'll just stand out, right? Just for various reasons. You know what I'm saying? Not that doesn't have to be the biggest scorer, right? Might be by some people's estimation a one-trick pony, but that doesn't matter if they're good at that one thing and bring something to the table, right? That's like your Rex Chapmans, your Kelly Tripucas, all those guys like that, dude. They're specific talents, and yet still well-rounded enough to survive in the league and make it on the roster. That's the problem that the WNBA needs right now. Besides the fact of putting them on, getting more teams out there for more people to play. And then, the WNBA, I don't know how well they work with the international leagues. I think they do. I know they're trying to do stuff here locally during off season and stuff like that. For me, I would go more to the international market, and I'm not saying pull players, but getting people exposure overseas and support that. Like what the NBA did under Stern. What was his name? David Stern, back in the day, to grow the brand. You see the NFL doing that, dude. They'll go to places like Samoa, right? And I've seen programs on that where they go to Samoa, and people are drawn to that because of the player quality. And not just in the talent, dude. I mean, just the overall person. If you notice that about sports, dude, they're looking at that now too, right? Because you lose money when you have somebody like it's good for publicity in some aspects, but when you're just a troublemaker, man, it's not going to be good overall. So they're looking for more than just the talent nowadays, dude. They're looking for the content of character, as I like to say. That's what the WNBA, man. They're behind. They're behind like what 15, 20 years of the NBA, or actually any sports franchise, or not franchise, but any sports league. They're 15, 20 years behind, and they need to catch up real fast. Because opportunities like this don't come around, dude. If they don't take advantage of this, dude, they could be stuck. They could be stuck in limbo for decades. Bondi says it's like a couple of college players right now that came from overseas in NFL academies. Yeah, they were doing that, dude. I know they were scouting Asia, right? Like even here, dude. There's some big dudes here, but there's just not the culture here. Like sports has grown here in Hawaii, but it's not. Look, I grew up in the South, so dude, SEC football, all that stuff, dude. That stuff is real, man. I've been to Gainesville, Florida. Dude. Went to the Gators game and stuff like that. Dude. That's their whole. There's a reason why they call it the swamp, bro. That's the mentality. I mean, it's getting better here, but it's not like that, dude. And then the culture here is kind of changing as well. So, but I mean, it's still going on, dude. They're looking. They're going to every corner of the earth, which I think is good because you never know. And for reasons too, right? Like growing their brand, marketing, their content, so that they can get more fans, which translates to more money. Right, better for everybody, I guess. But we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, but thanks, Fonty. Hey, man, good conversation, dude. I'll do a pop culture cast and we can talk about this in more detail there. And then, like I said, I'll run some other videos. I might do one right after this. Just really quickly reaction video for something I'm interested in. Give you guys maybe something to look at. Anyway, guys, dude, thanks for being here again. Shout out to the chat. Let me know what you guys think, man, in the comments. What is Windows ready? And is it ready for its big moment? Kind of like we've been talking about the WNBA when Caitlin Clark came in. She came in and hit the ground running. Are we going to get that out of Windows? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Xbox On channel. We'll see you forever. We out.